Chapter 3695. After obtaining the origin dragon souls of the 7th and 9th ancestral dragons, Long Chen wanted to leave the primogenitor's world immediately and return to the 4th floor of the Tower of Time to fuse with the origin dragon souls. But before that, he had to deal with the primogenitor life forms. At least, he had to warn them not to destroy the huge cave's barrier. Otherwise, the appearance of the sky-swallowing clan's holy leader would cause chaos in the myriad realms. Long Chen left the 7th ancestral dragon cave and came to Xiao Lang's side, confronting the primogenitor life forms outside the barrier. How about it, Long Chen? Have you made up your mind? If you decide to exchange with us now, we are willing to hand over the chaotic sky-swallowing flame, Peng Wen said to Long Chen calmly. You think too much. I'm here to bid farewell to you. Long Chen laughed. I've already obtained what I wanted here. I won't be returning here in the future. But before I leave, I have to remind you that the sky-swallowing clan's holy leader is sealed in this cave of the primogenitor dragon cave. If you dare to open the seal recklessly, you won't be able to survive. Long Chen's words caused the expressions of Peng Wen and the other primogenitor life forms to change. Long Chen was leaving, and wouldn't be returning here in the future? Didn't that mean they wouldn't be able to get the ancestral source from Long Chen? This wasn't good news for the primogenitor life forms. The ancestral source meant a lot to the primogenitor's world. They were about to get it, but now everything was ruined. Long Chen had escaped. Xiao Lang, let's go. As for the chaotic sky-swallowing flame, we'll definitely get it, but not now. Long Chen said to Xiao Lang. Even if he went back to fuse with the 7th and 9th ancestral dragon origin dragon souls before returning to the primogenitor's world, Long Chen could definitely fight against 3 primogenitor life forms alone. And that was a conservative estimate. Let's go back and fuse first. If we want the chaotic sky-swallowing flame, we can think of another way. Big brother, of course I'll listen to you. Let's go back and fuse with the origin dragon soul. Xiao Lang had always considered the bigger picture. Although he really wanted to obtain the chaotic sky-devouring flame, he knew that now wasn't the best time. Long Chen put Xiao Lang back into his divine kingdom, and then flew towards the giant hive, quickly disappearing from the sight of the progenitors. This made the primogenitors anxious. They all rushed towards the barrier and attacked. Destroy the barrier. At the very least, we need to know where they left the primogenitor world from. Peng Wen shouted and took the initiative to attack the barrier. At this time, Long Chen and Xiao Lang had already left, so they wouldn't be in any danger if they approached the barrier. Very quickly, the 23 primogenitor life forms joined hands, creating a gap in the entire barrier. After all, the barrier was already about to be destroyed. Now that Long Chen wasn't there to hold it back, the 23 primogenitor life forms attacked together and destroyed it very quickly. Not long after Long Chen and Xiao Lang left, a gap was created. With Peng Wen at the lead, all 23 primogenitor life forms rushed in, but found that Long Chen and Xiao Lang had already disappeared. The two of them had already left. In the vicinity of the giant primogenitor dragon lair, apart from the 23 primogenitor life forms, there was no other existence. Perhaps only the sky-swallowing clan holy masters sealed in the giant cave were left. However, the primogenitor life forms obviously knew how terrifying the sky-swallowing clan was. Even though they had lost track of Long Chen, they had never thought of destroying the sky-swallowing clan holy master seal. That was purely an act of seeking death. They could only search the vicinity of the giant beehive to find out how Long Chen left the primogenitor world. If they could find that exit, then the primogenitor life forms could also leave this place and head into the infinite worlds. However, after the 23 primogenitor life forms searched for a while, they found that many caves in the giant beehive had sealing barriers, and most of these caves were exactly the same. There was no difference at all. Where exactly did Long Chen leave the primogenitor world from? The 23 primogenitor life forms would probably be hard to find no matter how hard they searched. After all, every time they destroyed a barrier, it would take them a long time to attack it together, and there were countless sealing barriers in the entire lair of Zulong. Most importantly, who knew which cave sealed the sky-swallowing clan? The primogenitor life forms did not dare to act recklessly in the face of the giant beehive sealing barrier. They were afraid that if the sky-swallowing clan was released, they would be the first to die. The sky-swallowing clan would not treat them as their benefactors. Just like that, the 23 primogenitor life forms lost track of Long Chen once again. However, this time, they did not plan to leave the lair of Zulong. Anyway, to these primogenitor lifeforms, it did not matter where they were. Therefore, they stayed in the lair of Zulong and gathered together to prevent Long Chen from finding a chance to destroy them one by one. Moreover, Peng Wan firmly believed that Long Chen would definitely not let go of the chaotic sky-swallowing flame. The next time Long Chen wanted to snatch the chaotic sky-swallowing flame, it would be the time of Long Chen's death. That brat probably thinks that we will split up like last time, but he doesn't know that we are all gathered together this time. Once he appears, we can immediately kill him. Peng Wan gathered all 23 primogenitor lifeforms and waited in the lair of the ancestor divine dragon. These primogenitor lifeforms each chose a cave that was no longer sealed and rested in it. Once there was news of Long Chen, all the primogenitor lifeforms would arrive in an instant and attack him. At this moment, Long Chen had already returned to the infinite realms with Xiao Lang and Li Xuanji. He once again passed through the passage behind the lair of the ancestor divine dragon, and passed through several layers of barriers before returning to the world where the infinite realms were. After returning, Long Chen first visited everyone in the infinite realms, including the 4 ancestral divine armaments from the primogenitor world. He found that the entire infinite realms were peaceful and prosperous. There was no danger at all. The God-fiend Holy Lord was still in the state of life particles and recovering his strength. He did not take any action for the time being. Long Chen did not waste any time and directly stepped into the 4th floor of the Tower of Time. He took Li Xuanji and prepared to fuse with the origin dragon soul of the looming shadow dream dragon. Once the fusion succeeded, Li Xuanji would transform into a looming shadow dream dragon and Long Chen would obtain the inheritance of the 9th ancestral dragon. He would master the laws of transformation and hallucinatory, and he would be able to use the hallucinatory pendant. What made Long Chen more expectant was that the hallucinatory pendant and the primordial bone sword both contained the origins of 6 worlds. After fusing with them, perhaps Long Chen could step into the 4th era's ancestral god realm. In that case, his strength would truly undergo a transformation. Today was November 26th. On the 30th of this month, in a few days, my new book would be released. To be exact, it would be released in the early morning of the 30th. Here, Madman will announce 2 activities. First, a big red packet. On the 30th, Madman took out 1,000 yuan and used Alipay to send a red packet. As usual, he would send the password to the review section of the new book. The specific link would be sent to everyone. The time would be 12 noon sharp. After posting it in the review section, it would immediately be pinned at the top for everyone to see. I hope that everyone could read the new book on that day and send flowers and red packets to Madman. Because Madman was going to be the first in the new book ranking, he needed everyone to click on it. The new book ranking counted clicks and had to be clicked after the readers had logged in. Therefore, I hope that everyone could click on it. There would always be such activities. Second, post a review and grab a cameo role. Third, post a review on Madman's new book page. The review should be longer and better compliment me. Any book selected by Madman and added as an elite review will be considered a winner. The book reviewer can post their own role in their own book review. I will arrange for them to be included in the new book. The name should be similar to Xianxia as much as possible. Move your fingers and let countless readers know you. Other activities would be announced one after another on the 30th. In addition, Madman had created 10 new QQ groups and hired specialized staff to manage them. They would not be announced today because the staff had not started work yet. The new groups would be announced tomorrow or the day after. Please look forward to it. Chapter 3696. Long Chen couldn't wait to inherit the complete inheritance of the 7th and 9th ancestral dragons. Hence, he brought Li Xuanji along to prepare to fuse with the psychedelic pendant. Both the primordial bone sword and the psychedelic pendant contain 6 world origins. According to Long Chen's calculations, he should be able to step into the 4th era's ancestral god realm if he could fuse both of them. As for his actual combat strength, he would definitely surpass all the ancestral gods of the 4th era. However, this still depended on whether the fusion went smoothly. Since Li Xuanji was present, Long Chen chose to fuse with the psychedelic pendant first. This was the 9th ancestral dragon's world origin, the Umber Dream Dragon's world origin. It contained the boundless laws of dream and change, as well as the 6 world origins. This wasn't the first time that Long Chen had fused with the origin dragon soul and the world origin to inherit the complete ancestral dragon's inheritance. Hence, he was familiar with the process this time. The psychedelic pendant and the origin dragon soul fused with the laws of dream and change. Little by little, they were absorbed by Long Chen. The 6 world origins also started to fuse with Long Chen. However, at this time something unexpected happened. Originally, Long Chen thought that if he could absorb and fuse all 6 world origins, he would be able to step into the 4th era's ancestral god realm. However, when he truly came into contact with the 6 world origins, he realized that it wasn't as simple as he had imagined. Everyone's world origins had different attributes. For example, the ancestral dragon's world origins were green and had the attribute of life. The ancestral god's world origins were white and had all attributes. The primogenitor's world origins were dark and had no attribute. The psychedelic pendant and the primordial bone sword had been fused with Xueqi and Xueqi for many years. The 6 world origins didn't all belong to the ancestral dragon's world origins. Xueqi and Xueqi also had their own attributes. For example, in the psychedelic pendant that Long Chen was currently fusing with, the majority of the 6 world origins attributes had been converted to a single psychedelic attribute, but there was still a small portion that had no attribute. These world origins attributes were useless to Long Chen. Although there were not many world origins without attributes, it would be very difficult for Long Chen to step into the 4th era's origin ancestor god realm without this part of the world origins. Long Chen did not think too much about it. He prepared to fuse with the psychedelic pendant and inherit the 9th ancestral dragon's complete inheritance. But at that moment, the origin of the 6 worlds in the pendant suddenly dispersed. Long Chen felt a little shaken, and he was slightly injured. It wasn't a big problem, but Long Chen's plan to step into the 4th era's ancestral god realm was ruined. It seemed that he had to cultivate slowly on his own to be able to cultivate the origin of the 6th world and step into the 4th era's ancestral god realm. Very quickly, Long Chen inherited the psychedelic pendant's psychedelic nomological power. He also fused with Li Xuanji, causing Li Xuanji's divine soul to finally transform into an ancestral soul. Li Xuanji's ancestral soul fused with Long Chen's 1/10 of his ancestral soul. Both of them could control the psychedelic pendant together, allowing Li Xuanji to step into the 5th era's origin ancestor god realm. Of course, although Li Xuanji was at the 5th era's ancestor god realm, her combat power could barely be compared to the 4th era's origin ancestor gods. After all, the origin of the ancestral dragon's world was a single element, and its power was slightly greater. This was also why Long Chen was stronger than the ancestor gods of the same realm. Now, Li Xuanji was in the same situation. Although she only inherited the Shadow Dream Charm Dragon's inheritance, Li Xuanji's strength was still much greater than the other 5th era's origin ancestor gods. Long Chen was slightly disappointed that he could not step into the 4th era's origin ancestor god realm. After all, if he had succeeded, his combat power would have been greatly improved. When the sacred master divine demon recovered to his peak, he would also be able to fight him. Now, Long Chen's strength had not transformed. Although his strength had increased, it was still not enough to fight against the sacred master divine demon. The psychedelic pendant hung around his neck, and it reflected the life necklace and emitted a dazzling brilliance. From now on, Long Chen could use the psychedelic pendant to activate the dream and transformation rules, creating illusions in battle and so on. Therefore, he could also explore some new nomological powers, or use the psychedelic rules to fuse with other nomological powers to produce stronger nomological powers. All of this was what Long Chen needed to put into practice. His biggest advantage now was that he had the complete inheritance of the 6 great ancestor dragons. If he fused the primordial bone sword's origin of the world and inherited the universe primordial calamity dragon's inheritance, he would have the complete inheritance of the 7 great ancestor dragons. How many techniques could the complete inheritance of the 7 great ancestor dragons combine? Long Chen could not imagine it himself. Just the fusion of 3 types of ancestral dragon's inheritance laws could produce a powerful technique like the tricolor dragon source. What if he could fuse 4 types of ancestral dragon's inheritance laws? 5 types? Or even more? Of course, it was very difficult to fuse multiple types of laws. At the very least, he had to solve the problem of repelling laws. This would require Long Chen to spend a lot of effort on it. It was impossible to develop new combat techniques in a short period of time. However, Long Chen was not in a hurry. Anyway, the God-fiend Holy Lord's strength seemed to be recovering very slowly. The myriad worlds were peaceful, and there were no major battles for the time being. Long Chen could properly study and comprehend it. Next, he naturally had to fuse the primordial bone sword's origin of the world. After Li Xuanji succeeded and inherited the Shadow Dream Dragon's inheritance, she took the psychedelic pendant and went to find people to spar with. Xiao Lang, Lingxi and so on. Although she might not be able to defeat them for the time being, once she familiarized herself with the Shadow Dream Dragon's power, she could still resist them for a period of time. As for Long Chen, he began to fuse the primordial bone sword alone. The 6 worlds' origins were the same as the psychedelic pendant. Most of them already had a single primordial attribute, but they still contained a portion of Qi Yi's non-attribute energy. Long Chen was unable to fuse this portion of non-attribute energy. Therefore, in the end, he had only fused 5 worlds' origins. However, the laws contained in the primordial bone sword are primordial chaos and calamity. Its destructive power is much stronger than the dream and transformation laws. Moreover, I can also use Qi Yi's combat style to create some new techniques. Long Chen recalled the battle with Qi Yi. Qi Yi's ultimate calamity was an extremely powerful law technique. If it wasn't for the tricolor dragon source, Long Chen might not have been able to withstand it. Chapter 3697. Of course, Long Chen couldn't completely copy Qi Yi's method. After all, it was a rule that Qi Yi had comprehended by himself. It might not be suitable for Long Chen. However, Long Chen was able to comprehend something from it. Perhaps he could use it to create a new method. No matter what, he had to fuse with the primordial bone sword first. Similar to the psychedelic pendant, when he fused with the primordial bone sword, the origins of the 6 worlds were absorbed by Long Chen. Among them, the primordial attribute rule was completely integrated into Long Chen's body and was mastered by him. However, a part of the non-attribute power dissipated, slightly injuring Long Chen. In the end, he only obtained the origins of the 5 worlds. It didn't take too long for Long Chen to inherit the complete inheritances of the 7 ancestor dragons. Besides the previous 5 inheritances, Long Chen got the inheritances of the 7th ancestor dragon, Universe Chaos Calamity Dragon, and the 9th ancestor dragon, Shadow Dream Demon Dragon. They allowed Long Chen to master the Tao of Chaos and Calamity and the Tao of Illusion and Transformation respectively, further improving his strength. Among the 9 ancestor dragons, Long Chen only needed to inherit the inheritances of the 1st and 2nd ancestor dragons. Until now, he hadn't found any information about the 1st ancestor dragon. It was as if the 1st ancestor dragon had completely disappeared. The 7 inheritances of the 7 ancestor dragons and the 7 rules all contain the origins of the 5 worlds. Although I haven't reached the realm of the 4th era's origin ancestor god, my overall strength has increased a lot. Long Chen was satisfied with this overall fusion. As for breaking through to the realm of the 4th era's origin ancestor god, he had to find another opportunity. Next, Long Chen started to comprehend the laws of illusion and transformation and the laws of chaos and calamity. In the Tower of Time, he finally created some new means after numerous attempts. Now, the myriad worlds were peaceful. Besides the celestial demon lord who had turned into life particles, there were no other enemies. Therefore, Long Chen couldn't find an opponent to fight. Now, Long Chen naturally wanted to test his strength. He wanted to return to the primogenitor's world and snatch the primordial chaos sky-devouring flame from the primogenitor life forms. Unfortunately, he gave up on this idea after some thought. Long Chen had gone to the primogenitor world twice and escaped from the primogenitor life forms twice. If he went again, the primogenitor life forms might have already set up an ambush, waiting for him to jump in. Although Long Chen had now grasped the 7 great ancestral dragon laws and inherited the 7 great ancestral dragon legacies, it was still almost impossible for him to deal with 23 primogenitor life forms at the same time. It took Long Chen 1 month in total to inherit the inheritances of the 7th and 9th ancestral dragons and comprehend some wholly new skills. When he exited the 4th floor of the Tower of Time, 1 month had passed in the outside world. During this period of time, Li Xuanji had come out earlier than him. She had already familiarized herself with the new power that she had grasped. She could even persist for a period of time in the hands of Xiao Lang or Lingxi. When Long Chen exited the Tower of Time, he called everyone together. Lingxi, Xiao Lang, Kitten, Lingxi, Xueqi, and many 4th epoch primogenitor gods gathered together. Long Chen said with a smile, "I want to test my strength now. Who's willing to spar with me?" Boss, in the past, when you inherited 5 ancestral dragon legacies, we were no match for you. Now that you have inherited 2 more, you want us to spar with you? Isn't that just asking for death? Little Cat said with a puzzled look. I didn't ask you to spar with me. How about you join hands to deal with me? Long Chen glanced at everyone present and mainly focused on the fourth epic primogenitor gods. Soon, the three fourth epic primogenitor gods exchanged glances with each other and stood out. They said with a smile, "The three of us will spar with you. Let's see how strong you are now." These three grand ancestral gods of the Fourth Era were respectively the Chaos Ancestral God, the Destiny Ancestral God, and the Creation Ancestral God. All three of them were mid-stage grand ancestral gods of the Fourth Era, and their combat strengths could be considered to be the strongest amongst all the grand ancestral gods of the Fourth Era. Long Chen, if you can fight against the three of us at the same time, you'll definitely be the strongest among us. Destiny Star Ancestor said with a smile. We've been looking forward to this day for a long time. Long Chen, you've never let us down. Therefore, we'll go all out in this battle. You'd better be careful. Creation Demon Ancestor warned. Everyone, don't worry. I'll be fine. Follow me. Let's go to a remote place in the infinite worlds to spar. Don't involve innocent worlds. Long Chen raised his hand and teleported everyone to the death world. Then, they appeared in a very remote corner of the infinite worlds. In this remote corner, there were no worlds nearby. It was completely barren. If there had to be something here, it would probably be the life particles of the God-Fiend's Sacred Lord. Right now, the entire myriad worlds were filled with these life particles, causing Long Chen to be constantly worried. However, worrying now was useless. The key was to become stronger. Only then would he be able to fight against the demonic god Holy Lord. Currently, the divine demon Sacred Lord was definitely Long Chen's strongest opponent. The Sky-Devouring Clan's Sacred Lord in the lair of Zulong wouldn't be able to break the seal so quickly. However, the divine demon Sacred Lord could completely recover his strength at any time. When that time came, it would be a disaster for the infinite worlds. If Long Chen didn't have enough strength to fight against the divine demon Sacred Lord, the infinite worlds would be devoured and destroyed by the divine demon Sacred Lord once again. Billions of lives would be destroyed. In this remote and barren space, Long Chen stood alone. Li Xuanji merged with him as he faced the three Fourth Era ancestral gods. The Chaos Ancestral God, Destiny Ancestral God, and Creation Ancestral Demon. The three Fourth Era ancestral gods stood in three different directions and surrounded Long Chen. The others watched the battle from very far away instead. All of them really wanted to see exactly what extent Long Chen's strength had attained now, and if he was actually able to resist the joint forces of three Fourth Era progenitor gods. Long Chen, be careful. The three of us haven't fought together in a long time. The Chaos Ancestral God stood leisurely in the void and said to Long Chen solemnly, "Bring it on." Long Chen nodded. He was ready. On the other side, the Destiny Ancestral God and Creation Ancestral Demon transformed into their true forms. The two Ancestral God beasts instantly appeared in this remote corner of the space. The three Fourth Era ancestral gods had worked together many times. However, they had almost never fought against an opponent. Long Chen was the first opponent they had fought together. Let's begin. Let us see how strong you are now. The Chaos Ancestral God shouted and took the lead. Endless chaos laws began to erupt and filled the surrounding void. Today was the 27th. In less than 3 days, the new book would be released. When the time came, the link would be posted on WeChat immediately. There were 2 more activities. One was a 1,000 yuan red packet for the book review section. The other was to post book reviews and give extras. Everyone could browse first. Whether it was on their phones or computers, just search for 17K. Click on it and search for Dragon Blood God of War. After the new book is released, search for the name of the new book. Whether it was Dragon Blood or the new book, it would be completely free for a long time. Chapter 3698. As the primal ancestor god began to exert his strength, his signature origin of the world, the chaotic 9-colored lotus, appeared from the void. It contained the boundless laws of chaos, filling the entire area with chaotic force as soon as it appeared. 9-colored splendor illuminated the entire area. On the other side, the Destiny Astral Ancestor revealed his true form, the Destiny Astral Beast. The beast's body was enormous, like a boundless resplendent starfield. The entire void was filled with countless twinkling starlight. Every single star had its own predestined fate, and when combined together, it was vast and boundless. This was the Destiny Astral Ancestor's true form. As the Destiny Astral Ancestor's true form appeared, the origin of the world faintly appeared before everyone. It was a tower that flickered with endless starlight. This was the Destiny Star Tower. The Destiny Star Tower flickered with dazzling eternal starlight, like a never-ending destiny. It flowed within, looking a bit like the horn on the Destiny Astral Beast's head. As the starlight flickered, destiny flowed. Finally, the founding demon ancestor also revealed his true form, which was the founding primordial spirit beast, just like the Destiny Star Ancestor. In a vast expanse of white dust and mist, a giant beast could be vaguely seen walking proudly. It breathed in and out white clouds that filled the sky, and it was accompanied by a strong founding rule as it stepped on the void. The origin of the world, the founding heart, also appeared in the white dust. It was a heart of clouds that beat fiercely. It spun as the Genesis astral beast breathed in and out, bringing with it a burst of laws of creation that filled the entire starry sky. Great chaotic world. The primal ancestor god took the lead. Endless laws of chaos condensed, creating a world purely condensed from the laws of chaos. With the origin of the world, the chaotic nine-colored lotus, 9 kinds of splendor constantly intertwined in the great chaotic world. The great primal chaos world enveloped Long Chen as soon as it appeared. 9 different colors of light represented 9 different types of chaotic elemental essences: water, fire, wind, earth, metal, wood, lightning, light, and darkness. The laws of the 9 great primal chaos wreaked havoc, wanting to turn everything within the great primal chaos world into nothingness. Long Chen was enveloped by the great chaos world, suffering the ravages of the 9 great chaos worlds. He felt endless pressure, but his eyes were calm and composed. When the great chaotic world descended, Long Chen held the bloodlust sword in his left hand and the primordial bone sword in his right. With both swords in hand, he unleashed the sword light laws. Heavenly Blood River. A blood-red sword light swept out from the bloodlust sword, carrying with it the strongest aura of slaughter. It condensed into a river of blood that reached the heavens, completely shattering half of the great chaotic world. Primordial Dragon Tribulation. A sword-light law condensed from primordial chaos and tribulation surged out of the primordial chaos bone sword. The surging primordial chaos tribulation law transformed into an awe-inspiring sword light that blasted apart the other half of the grand chaotic world with boundless destructive power. With both swords in hand, Long Chen simultaneously unleashed the power of the 2 laws, instantly shattering the primordial chaos ancestor god's great chaotic world. The chaos 9-colored lotus that was guarding it was also destroyed by the violent fusion of the 2 swords. It was sent flying far away, causing the primordial chaos ancestor god's mind to be shaken and temporarily unable to attack again. Have a taste of my forbidden life technique, Severance of Destiny. Destiny Star Ancestor's technique immediately manifested. He didn't give Long Chen the slightest chance to catch his breath. Even the slaughter and primordial chaos tribulation law wreaked havoc in the battlefield. The second powerful law immediately descended. Destiny Star Tower descended from the sky, its majestic aura dispersing everything in the battlefield. It completely suppressed Long Chen within it, suppressing Long Chen's destiny. Severance of Destiny sealed destiny. Once Long Chen's destiny was completely suppressed, it was equivalent to his life coming to a standstill. Life and destiny complemented each other, and they relied on each other to exist. Without destiny, there wouldn't be the existence of life. Destiny Star Tower descended with the endless forbidden life technique, suppressing Long Chen's body, wanting to completely sever his destiny. Long Chen held both swords in his hands, the psychedelic pendant hanging on his body fluttering. The dream and transformation law shrouded Long Chen's entire body, and then he transformed into the appearance of Destiny Star Ancestor. Immediately after, Long Chen actually possessed the same ability as Destiny Star Ancestor. He held Destiny Star Tower in his hands, and the Destiny Law surged out, spreading out in all directions. Forbidden Life Technique. Long Chen actually used the psychedelic pendant to replicate Destiny Star Ancestor's technique, blasting out with the Forbidden Life Technique as well. The Forbidden Life Technique clashed with the Forbidden Life Technique, causing the endless power of the Destiny Law to explode in the void. The law techniques of both sides were annihilated in the explosion, returning to nothingness. Destiny Star Beast's body dimmed a lot in the explosion, and he retreated far away. He was surprised that Long Chen could actually replicate his technique, which shocked him greatly and made him unable to believe it. However, the founding primordial spirit beast's law attack also swept over. A white light bloomed from the fiercely beating founding heart, condensing into a beam that pierced through the void, and actually penetrated the void, disintegrating it. The primordial divine light. This white divine light contained the power of countless founding rule, which could turn all existences it touched into their original form, penetrating and disintegrating them into the most basic physical particles. It was conceivable that if life was hit by this primordial divine light, it would definitely dissipate, and completely turn into the original particles. Long Chen didn't have time to try more. He had a hunch that even if he performed rule techniques such as the Sky Blood River and the Primordial Dragon's Apocalypse, he still wouldn't be able to resist this primordial divine light. This was because the power of the rules contained in the Sky Blood River and the Primordial Dragon's Apocalypse would also be penetrated by this primordial divine light, disintegrated, and eventually turned into nothingness. There was no way to resist it head-on, so he could only find another way. The primordial bone sword and the psychedelic pendant combined at this moment. The rules of dream and change, the rules of primordial and catastrophe, the two sides completely merged together. Li Xuanji transformed into a phantom dream dragon and appeared from Long Chen's body. She infinitely enhanced the power of the psychedelic pendant, and combined it with the power of the primordial bone sword. She actually constructed a psychedelic world. Dream tribulation. The dream tribulation, the impact of the rules produced by the combination of the psychedelic pendant and the primordial bone sword instantly trapped the founding primordial spirit beast within. Countless samsara tribulations trapped the founding primordial spirit beast within, and he couldn't break free. The original spirit beast, a cloud of white dust, kept shaking in the illusory world, trying to break the illusory world of the tribulation in the dream. However, the illusory pendant and the primitive bone sword worked together and firmly suppressed him in the illusory world of the tribulation in the dream. The endless samsara tribulations completely surrounded the founding primordial spirit beast, causing the primordial divine light rule that he had just displayed to collapse by itself, and soon dissipated in the void without a trace. Chapter 3699. After the divine light of the creation spirit beast was broken, Long Chen could be said to have won against the three of them. At this time, there was no point in continuing to fight. The moves he had just used were the strongest moves of the Chaos Ancestral God, the Destiny Star Ancestor, and the Demon Ancestor Creator. Since they had failed to do anything to Long Chen, it could be said that they could not do anything to Long Chen even if they joined hands. Impressive indeed. Now, it seems that you're the strongest existence in the myriad worlds. If you can advance to the fourth era's ancestral god realm, you'll be much stronger than us. Chaos Ancestral God laughed and sighed. Long Chen's increase in strength was a good thing for them. After all, no one had forgotten that there was still the Sky Swallowing clan, a great enemy. Currently, the myriad world seemed peaceful, but in reality, they could face a storm at any time. No one knew when the Divine Demon Lord would recover. By then, a new round of war would begin. With Long Chen's leadership, it's possible for us to defeat the Sky Swallowing clan. But Long Chen, you're not strong enough. If it's so hard to deal with us, it'll be too hard for you to deal with the Divine Demon Lord. Destiny Ancestor said worriedly. When I go back, I'll cultivate the sixth world's origin as soon as possible and reach the fourth era Ancestor God realm. But I don't know how long it'll take. Long Chen said. It's fine. Right now, the infinite worlds are at peace. If the Celestial Demon Lord does anything, we'll know about it. Just focus on your cultivation. The Monster Creator Ancestor smiled. That's right. Then I'll have to trouble you to guard the world. When I cultivate, I'll return to the Tower of Time. I'm afraid I won't know what's happening outside. Long Chen said. That's it. We'll pay close attention to the world. If there's anything wrong, we'll inform you immediately. We'll take our leave now. Chaos Ancestor God nodded and left with the other fourth era Ancestor Gods. After sparring with Long Chen and proving Long Chen's absolute strength, there was no need for them to stay any longer. It was better for them to go back and observe the situation of the myriad worlds, in case something unexpected happened. Long Chen didn't have much to say to them. The most important thing now was to increase his strength. If he could increase his strength to the fourth epoch's origin Ancestor God realm, he might be able to deal with a fully recovered God-fiend Holy Lord. However, just as Long Chen was about to leave with the crowd, he suddenly heard an eerie and terrifying sneer, which made him nervous. This was the laughter of a divine demon lord. Long Chen's eyes flashed with a blood-red light. No matter what, he would always remember the divine demon lord's laughter and his ugly appearance. Now that he heard the divine demon lord's laughter, he immediately thought back to the past. When the divine demon lord first appeared, he disguised himself as the chaotic whole wizard ancestor, then captured Long Chen's elders, the 8 dragon servants, and refined them into evil soul-devouring beasts. Whether it was his identity as the sky-devouring clan's holy lord or his various evil deeds, it made Long Chen hate him to the core. Both sides fought to the death, and only one of them would survive. Now that the divine demon lord had turned into life particles and was scattered throughout the myriad worlds, why would he suddenly laugh? Long Chen snorted coldly. Divine demon lord, you recovered very quickly. You should be almost done, right? Do you dare to show yourself and fight me? Why wouldn't I dare? The divine demon lord's voice sounded, however, you only have this little bit of strength right now, and you want to challenge me? You're overestimating yourself. I'll let you live for a while longer. In any case, I'm not in a hurry. You should be the one in a hurry. Your 8 elders are still obedient soul-devouring beasts under me, and they're still waiting for you to save them, These words ignited Long Chen's anger once again. This god-fiend Saint Lord was truly arrogant. He could only turn into particles of life to avoid battle, but he was still so arrogant. It was truly disgusting. However, Long Chen couldn't do anything to him now. The divine demon lord had turned into life particles, and Long Chen couldn't completely destroy him right now. One day, you will pay the price for this. Long Chen said coldly. He would definitely save the 8 dragon servants, and he would definitely defeat the divine demon lord. However, as the divine demon lord had said, Long Chen had no chance of winning against the divine demon lord at his peak. Increasing his strength was the most important thing right now. I've been waiting for you to make me pay the price, but you can't do it. I'm very disappointed. The divine demon lord continued to smile smugly. However, the life particles he had turned into did not disappear. They were still spread across the myriad worlds. It was obvious that although his strength had recovered, it hadn't fully recovered, so he still didn't dare to appear. Long Chen had no choice but to suppress the raging flames of hatred in his heart. He left this place and rushed back to the dragon sacrificial continent. He couldn't do anything to the divine demon lord now, but he might be able to think of a way if he stepped into the 4th era's ancestral god realm. Long Chen had to hurry up and try to break through before the divine demon lord completely recovered. The divine demon lord probably wants to completely recover his strength now, and then attack me. He definitely wants to release the other sky-devouring race divine lords. Then what he needs is the ancestral dragon inheritance blood essence in my body. Long Chen was very clear about this. He wouldn't let the ancestral dragon inheritance blood essence fall into the divine demon lord's hands no matter what. As long as the ancestral dragon inheritance blood essence was with Long Chen, the divine demon lord wouldn't be able to save the other sky-devouring race divine lords. If there was only one divine demon lord, his battle strength would be limited. Divine demon lord, I must kill you. Long Chen withdrew the killing intent in his eyes and stepped into the 4th floor of the Tower of Time, preparing to cultivate to the 4th era's ancestral god realm. He didn't know how long this process would take, but it was a process he had to go through. If he wanted to fight the divine demon lord, reaching the 4th era's ancestral god realm was the most basic condition. Otherwise, Long Chen would most likely be suppressed by the divine demon lord. The divine demon lord suddenly appeared and said this to Long Chen. Nobody else knew about it, and Long Chen didn't tell anyone else. Before entering the Tower of Time, he had Lingxi, Mo Xiaolang, and Li Xuanji guard the dragon sacrificial continent. The 3 of them were as powerful as the 4th era's ancestral god realm. Among them, Xiao Lang and Lingxi were very powerful. With them guarding the dragon sacrificial continent, nothing would happen. The other 4th era's ancestral god realm returned to their own worlds and guarded one place. At the same time, they paid attention to the entire world. After making all the arrangements, Long Chen stepped into the 4th floor of the Tower of Time, preparing to officially break through to the 4th era's ancestral god realm. On the 28th, one day later, at 12 a.m., the lunatic's new book would be released. Everyone, please pay attention to WeChat. I will send the chapter directly to your WeChat. Remember to come to the comment section of the new book page on the 30th to post your book review and win a supporting role. At 12 a.m. on the 30th, there will be a red packet of 1,000 yuan waiting for you. Chapter 3700. When Long Chen entered the Tower of Time and started to condense the origin of the sixth world to break through to the fourth era's primordial ancestor god, the celestial demon Sacred Lord, who had turned into endless life particles and spread across the entire world, started to move. Hee, I didn't expect Long Chen to leave me a surprise. There are actually 4 primogenitors in the infinite worlds. What a great tonic! The celestial demon Sacred Lord woke up after recovering part of his strength. After provoking Long Chen for a while, he started to observe the situation in the world. Finally, he discovered that there were actually 4 primordial divine mites traveling in the world. Because he had transformed into countless particles of life and was scattered throughout the infinite worlds, he could easily sense any changes in the infinite worlds as well as some details once he woke up. The primordial life forms were very effective for the celestial demon's Sacred Lord to recover his strength. As long as I devour all the 4 primordial divine mites, I might be able to recover a lot of my strength. A plan formed in the divine demon lord's mind. Although he hadn't fully recovered his strength and had only recovered half of it, he could use this opportunity to stir up some trouble while Long Chen was cultivating. The most important thing was to devour the 4 primordial divine mites and try to recover his strength. The life particles of the celestial demon's Sacred Lord could only be observed by Long Chen with his eye of the origin of life. When he confirmed that Long Chen was concentrating on cultivation in the Tower of Time, he finally started to condense all the life particles. The endless life particles scattered across the world suddenly started to condense. In an extremely short period of time, they gathered in the 9th era's world. The reason why he chose this place to condense his true body was that there was a primordial divine mites experiencing life in this 9th era's world. It was Shen Er. Shen Er was traveling across the world, experiencing sorrow, joy, love, hatred, affection, and hatred. He had never experienced this in the primordial world. Therefore, he was deeply immersed in it and didn't realize the approaching danger. At this moment, Shen Er was leaving a city for another city. He was going to travel to the ends of the world alone. In the wilderness, a black-robed figure suddenly appeared behind Shen Er with a gust of endless chilly wind. Shen Er instantly became alert. Who is it? The young man that Shen Er had transformed into turned around and glanced at the black-robed figure. Shen Er's face darkened when he sensed the immense pressure coming from the black-robed figure. He knew that this black-robed man was very strong, and was not inferior to him in any way. Although the black-robed man looked extremely skinny and small, only the size of a child. Only his limbs were longer. The aura he exuded made Shen Er feel extremely pressured. Logically speaking, it was impossible for such a powerful existence to appear in the 9th era. However, since the other party had appeared, Shen Er knew that the other party had most likely come with ill intentions. The black-robed man did not say anything. He raised his hand and a gloomy power of rules condensed into a huge gloomy arm that lunged at Shen Er. If Long Chen was here, he would definitely be able to tell at a glance that this huge arm was the Chaos Origin hand that the Black Hole Wizard ancestor had used before. It was as if the majestic power of the origins of 6 worlds had condensed at the same time, turning the entire 10,000 worlds into a cave. A huge gloomy arm emerged from the cave with a boundless aura and swept towards Shen Er. Of course, Shen Er would not just stand there and wait to be captured. The non-elemental power of rules from the primogenitor's world surged out as well. Both parties did not say anything and immediately started fighting. The divine demon Sacred Lord had already devoured the Black Hole Wizard ancestor. He was even more familiar with the Black Hole Wizard ancestor's techniques than the Black Hole Wizard ancestor himself. The Chaos Origin hand emerged from the cave and boundless laws completely suppressed Shen Er. Even though Shen Er used the non-elemental power of rules and condensed a hurricane to blow the Chaos Origin hand away, the divine demon Sacred Lord's next technique arrived before he could destroy the Chaos Origin hand. Great Heaven Chaotic Hole. It was as if a myriad world skull had transformed into crystal-clear particles, condensing into a huge sealed world that instantly engulfed Shen Er's entire body. Meanwhile, the black-robed man stood on the myriad world skull and watched the changes in the Tai Tsong chaotic hole. Xin Er was enveloped by the great heaven chaotic whole and was attacked by boundless laws. He was a little flustered and regretful. If he had known earlier, he would have sent a message. Now, he could not even send a message. Was he going to die here? Xin Er's expression darkened. Right at this moment, the devouring power of a sacred lord surged out from Tai Tsong's myriad world chaotic whole skull and engulfed Xin Er. Xin Er, who was only a primordial ancestor god from the Fourth Era, was not a match for the divine demon sacred lord, who had recovered half of his strength without any preparation. The two exchanged blows very quickly, and Xin Er was quickly devoured by the divine demon sacred lord. Not bad, not bad. This primogenitor's life is great nourishment. I have finally recovered 60% of my strength. There are still 3 other primogenitor divine mites. If I devour all of them, my strength will very likely return to its peak. At that time, Long Chen will have nowhere to run. The divine demon sacred lord laughed darkly as his body once again turned into particles of life and disappeared from the Ninth Era. Because the battle had ended too quickly, no one knew that a battle between primordial ancestor gods from the Fourth Era had taken place here. The divine demon sacred lord's strength had increased after devouring Xin Er, and it was even easier for him to deal with the other 3 primordial divine mites. The only thing he needed to be careful about was that he couldn't let the primordial divine mites leak any information. Of course, the 4 primordial divine mites were all in the 10,000 worlds. They had turned into human-shaped divine demon sovereigns and were roaming around, so they weren't very cautious. All they needed to do was to lose the chance to send a message and become food for the divine demon sacred lord. Just like that, the 4 primordial divine mites were devoured by the divine demon sacred lord without Long Chen and the others knowing. Even when God 1 and God 4 teamed up, they weren't able to stop the divine demon sacred lord's attacks. They were all devoured and turned into a part of his body. The divine demon sacred lord wasn't very satisfied with the results of devouring the 4 primordial divine mites. Even after devouring 4 primogenitors, he has only recovered 80% of his strength. He's still a crucial step away from a complete recovery. However, the other Saint Masters have waited long enough. Even though he has only recovered 80% of his strength, he'll still be able to take control of Long Chen and obtain his inheritance blood essence. The divine demon sacred lord had a plan, and his figure disappeared once more. No one noticed his appearance and departure. The new book would be released after 12 p.m. tonight. There were 10 new QQ groups, and everyone was welcome to join. Of course, the Dragon Blood War God group was still a fan group. The group numbers were 251300749, 253223240, 4770777490, 273891490, 274568406, 4752674333, 3099011140, 3033014458, 4568424041. 3029868887. The new fan group had 3 rules, and everyone could take a look. For the convenience of everyone, there was no need to change avatars when entering the group. Now, the 10 groups only had 1 leader. Those who wanted to be a manager or were willing to serve as a manager, please contact the leader. The new book, Write a Book Review, Give Out a Character event was still the same, and it would last for a month. As long as it was a high-quality book review, and as long as it was in essence, one could write the name of the character they wanted in the post, and it would appear in the book. The better the name, the better the role. The red packet event was slightly changed. On the first day, 1,000 yuan red packets would be given out. It would be divided into 5 times. Each time, it would be 200 yuan. The Alipay password would be sent at 8 p.m., 10 p.m., 12 p.m., 15 p.m., 18 p.m. Please pay attention to the book review section. After 12 p.m., the Frenzied One would post the link to the new book page on the Frenzied One's WeChat account, Feng Qingyang. Please try to log in when reading. Only then would the Frenzied One be able to increase the number of clicks. A new beginning. A new journey. Tomorrow, the book would release 10 chapters. Chapter 3701. When the Sacred Lord was making his move, Long Chen was cultivating in the Tower of Time, trying to break through to the Fourth Era's ancestral god realm. He thought that the Sacred Lord would need a long time to recover and wouldn't come out to cause trouble at this moment, so he wasn't too worried. However, he didn't expect that the existence of the 4 ancestral divine beasts would attract the Sacred Lord's attention. The other ancestral gods of the 4th era were still in their own worlds. Although they were very vigilant, they did not feel a trace of the aura of the god-fiend Sacred Lord, nor could they sense the disappearance of the life particles in the infinite worlds. On the surface, the entire infinite world seemed to be a peaceful scene. But in the dark, the god-fiend Sacred Lord's plot had gradually begun, and he had extended his claws to the 4th era's ancestral gods. After devouring the 4 ancestral divine beasts, the Sacred Lord came to the past and future realm. The past and future realm belonged to the past and future ancestor and was protected by the past and future ancestors array. However, the Sacred Lord came here because he had left a backup plan. When the chaotic whole ancestor was killed by Long Chen, the Era Dao ancestor and the Blood Demon ancestor took the opportunity to break free from the Sacred Lord's influence and return to normal. However, at that time, the god-fiend Sacred Lord had secretly tried his best to maintain his influence on the souls of the past and future ancestors. Today, it was finally time to reap the fruits of his labor. The Sacred Lord, who had recovered 80% of his strength, came to the outside of the past and future realm. He looked at the protective array of the past and future realm and smiled faintly before finally sending a message into the past and future realm. In next to no time, a tall and graceful woman in a light blue dress with a white muslin draped over appeared from the clouds. Her figure was graceful, and she was the peerlessly beautiful woman in the myriad of worlds, the ancestor of the past and future. "I've been waiting for you for a long time." The ancestor of the past and future appeared and said calmly. She was not surprised at the arrival of the Holy God Demon Master. She had been influenced by the Holy God Demon Master in terms of her soul. Therefore, she was basically under the control of the Holy God Demon Master. The reason why the God-fiend Sacred Lord had chosen the past and future ancestors instead of the Epic Tao ancestor or the Blood Demon ancestor was because the past and future ancestors usually spoke the least and were the most low profile. It was not easy for others to discover any clues. The facts proved that his choice was not wrong. If he had chosen Tao Ancestor Era or Blood Demon Ancestor, perhaps he would have been exposed during that period of time. However, the ancestors of the past and future had never left their past and future realm for a period of time. They did not communicate with the other 4th era's primordial ancestor gods at all, so no one could tell anything. Most importantly, the past and future ancestor had an eccentric personality. She was a man of few words, and her expression was cold. Even though she had not appeared for a long time, no one suspected her. "Since we've waited for so long, there's no need to wait any longer. Come." The black-robed Sacred Lord God-fiend moved closer to the past and future ancestors. He turned into a ball of pitch-black mist and fused into the bodies of the past and future ancestors, just like how he had fused into the chaotic whole witch ancestor. The eyes under the veil of the past and future ancestors soon released a gaze that was completely different from before. This gaze was cold and sinister. It was obvious that the past and future ancestors had been completely taken over by the Sacred Lord God-fiend. It was much more convenient for the Sacred Lord God-fiend to do things as the past and future ancestors. After successfully fusing into the past and future ancestors, the Sacred Lord God-fiend's series of plans finally began. Other than the change in the gaze of the past and future ancestor when she first merged with it, her gaze quickly returned to its usual cold expression. No one could tell that she was no longer her, the past and future ancestor, but him, the Divine Demon Lord. First target, Tao Ancestor Era. "Since you once followed this Sacred Lord, I'll give you another chance now, he. The Sacred Lord God-fiend used the identity of the past and future ancestors and instantly disappeared. In the next instant, he appeared outside the Era Dao domain. The Era Dao domain was the same as the past and future realm. It was protected by the Era Dao ancestors array diagram, so the Sacred Lord God-fiend couldn't force his way in. He had to find the Era Dao ancestor. It was very normal for the past and future ancestors to find the Era Dao ancestor. Although the past and future ancestors were reclusive and didn't speak much, it was fine for them to occasionally find someone else. The Era Dao ancestor didn't think too much when he heard the past and future ancestor's voice. He just felt it was slightly strange. Why did the past and future ancestors have the time to find him today? Soon, the Epic Tao ancestor put down what he was doing and left the Epic Tao domain, arriving outside it. "Past and future ancestors, why are you in the mood to come to the Era Dao domain to find me? If you have something to say, just say it. There's no need to worry. The Era Dao ancestor said casually. However, in the next instant, he realized that something was wrong. Although the past and future ancestors were silent in the past, they would still respond if someone asked them a question. However, the past and future ancestors didn't respond to his question at all. The Era Dao ancestor was puzzled. Just as he was about to ask more questions, a black shadow suddenly appeared from the past and future ancestors and instantly shifted to the Era Dao ancestor. The Era Dao ancestor didn't have time to react at all. The look in his eyes changed, and he immediately wanted to resist. However, the black shadow soon completely suppressed his consciousness and sealed it. It's about time. The Era Dao ancestor is now a part of me. Following that, the Era Dao ancestor's eyes revealed a sinister and dark gaze. This meant that the Era Dao ancestor had been fused with the Sacred Lord, just like the past and future ancestors. Right now, the past and future ancestors were in the same situation as the Era Dao ancestor. They had both been parasitized by a part of the Sacred Lord and fused with it. They had completely become the Sacred Lord's puppets. It was unknown whether their consciousnesses had been devoured or suppressed by the Sacred Lord. In any case, the two of them couldn't resist the Sacred Lord at all under the current circumstances. The Sacred Lord was extremely powerful. In just a short amount of time, he had controlled the past and future ancestors and the Era Dao ancestor, both of the Fourth Era's ancestor gods. The main reason was that a part of the Sacred Lord's body had entered their bodies, causing them to be taken over by the Sacred Lord without any ability to resist. The two of them could be said to be a part of the Sacred Lord's body. They were like his limbs. The Sacred Lord wasn't satisfied after controlling two Fourth Era's ancestor gods. He wanted to completely control Long Chen and obtain his inheritance blood essence. Just two Fourth Era's ancestor gods were far from enough. One more reminder. The new book would be officially released after midnight tonight. There were 10 new QQ groups. Everyone was welcome to join. Of course, the Dragon Blood War God group was still a fan group. The group numbers were 251300749, 253223240, 4770774490, 2738914990, 2745684006, 4752674333, 3099011140, 3033014458, 4568424041, 3029868887. The new fan group had 3 rules that everyone could take a look at. In order to make things easier for everyone, there was no need to change identities when entering the group. The 10 groups only had one leader. Those who wanted to be a manager or were willing to be a manager, please contact the leader. The Write a Book Review, Give Out a Character event was still the same, and it would last for a month. As long as it was a high-quality book review and had an essence added to it, one could write the name of the character they wanted in the post, and it would appear in the book. The better the name, the better the role. The Red Packet event was slightly changed. On the first day, one would give out a 1,000 yuan red packet. It would be split into 5 times. Each time, it would be 200 yuan. The Alipay password would be sent at 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1500 hours, 1800 hours. Please pay attention to the book review section. After 12 o'clock, Feng Qingyang would post the link to the new book on Feng Qingyang's WeChat account. Please try to log in when reading. Only then will Feng Qingyang be able to increase the number of clicks. Otherwise, the clicks would be useless. A new beginning. A new journey. Tomorrow, 10 chapters would be released. Chapter 3702. Soundlessly, the fiend god Holy Lord began to move. He split off a part of his body as quickly as he could, taking control of both the past and future ancestors and the epic Tao ancestor. With these two as a foundation, the following actions were even simpler. The divine demon lord controlled the past and future ancestors and the Era ancestor, and the two of them silently came to where the blood demon ancestor was. After all, the blood demon ancestor had once stood on the same side as the past and future ancestors and the Era ancestor. Upon hearing the summons of the two of them, he naturally appeared without any preparation. Thus, the divine demon lord used the same method to parasitize and control the blood demon ancestor. Almost exactly the same method, he easily controlled the blood demon ancestor. With the cooperation of 3 4th-era primordial ancestor gods, it was already a very powerful force, especially when these 3 4th-era primordial ancestor gods were controlled by the divine demon Sacred Lord alone. If they cooperated with each other in battle, they would be even stronger than when the 3 of them joined forces. Of course, the divine demon lord also knew that it would be very difficult to wipe out Long Chen's forces with just the 3 of them working together. Thus, he began to attack the 4th-era ancestor gods on Long Chen's side. The divine demon lord had been forced to turn into life particles by Long Chen, and the chaos whole witch ancestor had been killed by Long Chen. Ever since then, the era ancestor and the blood demon ancestor had joined Long Chen's side. Thus, it was not too surprising that they went to find Long Chen's side with the past and future ancestors. Their first target was the primordial war ancestor in the primitive warship. Even after the battle with the divine demon lord, the relationship between the primordial war ancestor, the era ancestor, and the blood demon ancestor could only be said to be ordinary. Thus, when the primordial war ancestor heard the era ancestor, the blood demon ancestor, and the past and future ancestors call out to him, he couldn't help but feel a little strange. He wondered what the 3 of them wanted to do together. The past and future ancestors were very low-key and mysterious. The primordial war ancestor had never seen them before. However, now that the 10,000 realms were at peace and the divine demon lord was recovering his strength, the primordial war ancestor wasn't too suspicious. He was just a little curious. He left the primitive warship and came out to see the era ancestor and the other 2. "Why have the 3 of you come to find me together?" the primordial war ancestor asked directly. He looked at the past and future ancestors in the middle. In his opinion, the past and future ancestors were most likely commanding the 3 of them. Otherwise, the past and future ancestors wouldn't have bothered to leave the past-future realm. It was likely that the past and future ancestors had something they wanted to do, and that was why they would come out. The primordial war ancestor was quite curious about the past and future ancestor. He wanted to know the secrets behind this woman, so he wasn't too guarded against her. However, when the primordial war ancestor asked this question, he immediately sensed that something was wrong. This was because he saw a wisp of black gas emerging from the past and future ancestor, the era ancestor, and the primordial war ancestor. The wisp of black gas rapidly seeped out of their bodies before fusing into one in the void. It possessed an eerie and terrifying presence, and the primordial war ancestor felt a sense of familiarity. "It's a divine demon lord." The primordial war ancestor's expression changed drastically, but it was too late. The 3 wisps of black gas condensed into one, and instantly penetrated into the primordial war ancestor's body. In the blink of an eye, it directly suppressed all of the primordial war ancestor's mobility. The power of the primordial war ancestor and the divine demon lord fought fiercely in the primordial war ancestor's body, but the wisp of black gas from the divine demon lord quickly suppressed the primordial war ancestor's consciousness. In this state, it was completely impossible for the primordial war ancestor to send a message out. Before his consciousness dissipated, he only thought that he had been too careless and hoped that the others wouldn't be as careless as him. However, his consciousness was still completely controlled by the divine demon lord. As a wisp of black gas seeped out of the primordial war ancestor's eyes, it meant that the primordial war ancestor was also controlled by a part of the divine demon lord. Not long after, the black gas in the primordial war ancestor's eyes disappeared, and he returned to his normal state. However, the primordial war ancestor was no longer the primordial war ancestor of the past, but a puppet controlled by the divine demon lord. The number of primordial ancestor gods of the 4th era under the control of the divine demon lord increased to 4. With the primordial war ancestor, the following actions became more convenient. If the 3 primordial ancestor gods appeared together, some vigilant primordial ancestor gods might be suspicious. However, if the primordial war ancestor was with them, nobody would be suspicious at all. This was also the reason why the divine demon lord regarded the primordial war ancestor as the 4th target. Until now, the divine demon lord's actions were still carried out secretly. He didn't expose any trace to the other primordial ancestor gods of the 4th era, not to mention Long Chen, who was breaking through to the primordial ancestor god realm in the Tower of Time. Even Lingxi, Li Xuanji, and Mo Xiaolang, who were guarding the dragon sacrificial continent, didn't notice anything wrong at all. In fact, the divine demon lord had already calculated everyone's reaction when he took action. It was because he couldn't be noticed by others that he made such a series of actions. Otherwise, he wouldn't have taken action so easily. When the Divine Demon Lord controlled the 4 primordial ancestor gods of the 4th era, the situation was basically out of control. Next, the Divine Demon Lord controlled the past and future ancestors, the Tao ancestor of the era, the Blood Demon ancestor, and the newly controlled primordial war ancestor to the next destination without making any sound. Unknowingly, the primordial ancestor gods of the 4th era who were originally on Long Chen's side fell into the hands of the Divine Demon Lord one after another. From the beginning to the end, the Divine Demon Lord didn't give anyone a chance to send a message out. Each primordial ancestor god of the 4th era was directly occupied and suppressed by a part of the Divine Demon Lord's body the moment they appeared. It was impossible for them to send any message to Long Chen. Moreover, as the Divine Demon Lord controlled more and more primordial ancestor gods of the 4th era, it became easier and easier for him to control a new primordial ancestor god. In fact, as long as the other party appeared in the sight of the Divine Demon Lord's group, the Divine Demon Lord would have already taken action. He would split a part of his body and turn it into a cloud of black chi to suppress the other party. Soon, the Fate Star Ancestor, the Creation Primordial Spirit Beast, and the other primordial ancestor gods of the 4th era were also controlled by the Divine Demon Lord. In the end, there were only the Chaos Ancestor God, the Primordial Ancestor God, and the Creation Ancestor God. Chapter 3703. When all the 4th era's ancestral gods had fallen into the hands of the Sacred Lord, Chaos Ancestor God, and Creation Ancestor God were gathered in the Chaos Divine World. The Chaos Divine World, and Creation Divine World had surrounded the Dragon Sacrificial Continent before the First Era. The 3 ancestral gods had a very good relationship. Chaos, and Creation were all part of the second ancestral dragon's primordial dragon sacrificial ceremony. It was normal for the 3 to gather together. When all the 4th era's ancestral gods suddenly disappeared, the 3 were puzzled and gathered together. A few days ago, I invited the Fated Star Ancestor and the original Spirit Beast over to discuss the future, but I didn't get a response. At first, I thought they were temporarily occupied, or maybe they were in seclusion, but now it seems that something is wrong. Chaos Ancestor God frowned and said. The primordial Chaos Ancestor God shook his head and said, "Me too. I sent a message to the primordial war ancestor a while ago, asking him to come over and discuss some matters, but he didn't reply. I thought it was normal at first. After all, not everyone is always free. They are most likely in seclusion or something. But since no one has sent a message back, I'm afraid something has changed." Creation Ancestor God nodded. Should we tell Long Chen? If something has really changed, there is only one possibility, and that is... When the Chaos Ancestral God said that, the 3 of them looked at each other and saw the deep worry in each other's eyes. Without a doubt, the current myriad worlds were quite peaceful, but in fact, undercurrents were surging and a storm was brewing. The source of all this was the Sacred Lord, who had turned into a life particle state. If there was any change in the myriad worlds, it was definitely related to the Sacred Lord. Now, none of the other 4th era's ancestral gods have replied. Could it be that they've encountered some unforeseen event? We don't need to tell Long Chen for now. After all, he is working hard to break through to the 4th era's ancestral god realm. Only by successfully entering this realm can he contend with the Sacred Lord. As for the specific situation, we should be careful and try to send people to the other ancestral gods' worlds to investigate. As Creation Ancestor God spoke, he glanced at Chaos Ancestor God and Grand Mist Ancestor God. He wanted to hear their opinions. I think it's doable. If the 3 of us act together, even if something goes wrong, we'll have time to react and inform Long Chen of the situation. The primordial Chaos Ancestor God nodded. The 3 of them quickly came up with a plan and prepared to go to the primitive warship where the primordial war ancestor was. Thinking about it, the primordial war ancestor had disappeared for a long time. If something really happened, they might be able to find some clues near the primitive warship. However, just as the 3 of them were about to leave the Chaos Divine World and head towards the location of the ancient battleship, they suddenly noticed a large group of people outside the Chaos Divine World's protective array diagram. The expressions of the 3 ancestral gods changed when they saw this large group of people. What's going on? Why are all the ancestral gods of the 4th era gathered together? From afar, they could see that outside the Chaos Divine World, the past and future ancestors, Blood Demon Ancestor, Epic Tao Ancestor, Primordial War Ancestor, Destiny Star Ancestor, and Creation Demon Ancestor. A total of more than 10 ancestral gods of the Fourth Era had actually gathered together and arrived outside the Chaos Divine world. The 3 Chaos ancestral gods immediately sensed that something was amiss with the situation. If there was something important that caused the other party to gather together, why didn't anyone respond when they sent the message? If there was really something important, the ancestral gods of the Fourth Era would first send messages to each other and discuss it. Then, when it was time to take action, they would really gather together. Now that all the other ancestral gods of the Fourth Era had gathered together, but the 3 ancestral gods knew nothing about it, it was very likely that something had happened. The 3 ancestral gods didn't know what exactly had happened, but they thought that it might be related to the god fiend's sacred master. Originally, they didn't want to disturb Long Chen's cultivation, but now that the other Fourth Era's primordial ancestor gods had all gathered together and the situation was so abnormal, they had no choice but to pass the news to Long Chen. I'll stay in the guardian diagram of the Chaos Divine world and confront them from afar. You guys send the message to Long Chen. Be quick. After saying that, the ancestral god flew into the sky and approached the border of the guardian diagram of the Chaos Divine world. There were too many people outside the Chaos Divine world. If the other party really had bad intentions, the ancestral god would definitely be in trouble once he left the Chaos Divine world. For the sake of caution, the ancestral god didn't leave the Chaos Divine world. Instead, he sent a message to the group of ancestral gods of the Fourth Era through the guardian diagram. Everyone, why are you all gathered together now? Is there something going on? The ancestral god didn't show his strangeness for the time being. He pretended to be curious and inquired. Yes, there's something. Ancestral god, come out and we'll discuss it together. This matter is very important and secretive. We don't want others to know about it, even if it's just a little bit. The Destiny Star Ancestor spoke and sent the message to the ancestral god. What's the matter? The ancestral god asked cautiously. Why are you afraid? Now that the god fiend's sacred master has turned into life particles and doesn't dare to appear, we're actually on the same side. It's just that we have some ideas that we'd like to discuss with you. The ancestral monster creator also sent a message to the ancestral god. The ancestral monster creator was even more puzzled. What special ideas did they have that required them to be so secretive? This situation seemed very strange. Fortunately, the ancestral god of chaos and the ancestral god of creation had already informed Long Chen about this matter. Soon, Long Chen would come out of the Tower of Time and come to the Chaos Divine world. Since the ancestral god, the Destiny Star Ancestor, and the ancestral monster creator joined hands to fight against Long Chen, but failed to defeat Long Chen officially became the leader of the ancestral gods of the Fourth Era. When the ancestral god encountered something, he subconsciously wanted to wait for Long Chen's arrival and follow Long Chen's instructions. Due to some things that happened before, Long Chen had already established a very high prestige in the hearts of the ancestral gods of the Fourth Era. Almost everyone had subconsciously regarded Long Chen as their pillar. Because of this, the gathering of the other ancestral gods of the Fourth Era was even more suspicious. When he was sending red packets today, he noticed that someone was using a software cheat to snatch the red packets. Therefore, the red packets were emptied in seconds. Lunatic went to bed at 4 a.m. last night and got up at 8 a.m. to send red packets. He didn't expect that he would be cheated by technology. He was so depressed that he had broken his promise to everyone. He was really sorry. Lunatic would think of other ways to make up for the remaining 400 yuan. From today onward, the 2 books would be updated together. The Heaven Swallowing Chronicles would be updated at 12 a.m. during the day, and the Dragon Blood God of War would be updated at 18 p.m. No matter what difficulties we've gone through, at least we, the dragons, are still the most awesome. We've made history. It's only been 12 hours since we released the books, and the Heaven Swallowing Chronicles has taken the first place on the new books list, the member clicks list, the collection list, the hot comments list, and the stamp list. We've only published 30,000 words. I thought it would take us a week to reach this step. I didn't expect that we'd dominate the list in just one day. Everything was created by everyone. Thank you all. Thank you all, dragons. Thank you, Sky Swallowing Clan. In return, I'm going to give you the updates of the 2 books. It's super cool. Chapter 3704. On the fourth floor of the Tower of Time, Long Chen was still a long way from breaking through to the fourth era's ancestral god realm. Suddenly, Long Chen received a notice from Chaos Ancestral God and Creation Ancestral God. They said that they saw the other fourth era's ancestral gods gathering and coming to the Chaos Divine realm. They felt something was wrong, so they notified him. Except for the Chaos Ancestral gods. Except for Chaos Ancestral God and Creation Ancestral God, all the other fourth era's ancestral gods have gathered together, and their whereabouts are strange? Long Chen's heart skipped a beat. He stopped cultivating and immediately left the Tower of Time. After leaving the Tower of Time, Long Chen immediately activated the Eye of Origin of Life to check the situation in the myriad realms by using this rule method. What he saw made his heart skip a beat. This was because he realized that the life particles that the God-fiend Holy Lord had transformed into had disappeared without a trace. Originally, the Divine Demon Lord had turned into endless life particles to recover his strength and spread throughout the myriad worlds. There were such life particles in every corner of the myriad worlds. But now, the entire myriad worlds became empty all of a sudden. All the life particles had disappeared without a trace. The Divine Demon Lord has taken action. In that case, the situation of the fourth era's ancestral gods isn't good. Could they be controlled by the Divine Demon Lord? Long Chen's face sank. He recalled the last time he fought with the Sacred Fiend God Lord. The Sacred Fiend God Lord had affected the souls of the past and future ancestors, Blood Demon Ancestor, and had directly taken control of the chaotic Whole Witch Ancestor. Now, it was very likely that the God-Fiend Holy Master had used the same method. However, the scale was much larger than the last time. He had actually managed to control all of the ancestral gods of the Fourth Era, except for Hongmeng, Creation, and Chaos Ancestral gods. Of course, this was only Long Chen's conjecture. If he wanted to prove the truth of this conjecture, he had to head to the chaotic divine world and personally verify it. As long as he saw those Fourth Era's primordial ancestor gods, Long Chen would have a way to see if they were controlled by the God-Fiend Sacred Master. The four ancestral divine marshals were originally traveling around the 10,000 worlds, but now they've disappeared. This probably has something to do with the Sacred Lord God Demon Lord. We need to investigate this. Long Chen didn't think too much about it. He immediately notified Lingxi, Mo Xiaolang, and Li Xuanji who were guarding the dragon sacrificial continent and asked them to follow him to the primal chaos divine world. Now, if the Fourth Era's ancestral god was really controlled by the God-Fiend Sacred Lord as speculated, then the number of experts in Long Chen's camp was far inferior to the other party. Just the dozen or so Fourth Era primordial ancestor gods would be difficult to deal with, let alone the God-Fiend Sacred Lord who might have recovered his strength. Therefore, Lingxi, Mo Xiaolang, and Li Xuanji had become comrades that Long Chen had to rely on. Some time ago, the strength of the three of them had increased, and all of them were comparable to the Fourth Era's original ancestor gods. They could also fight on the battlefield now. Let's go together. If a fight breaks out, we can help. Mo Xiaolang said to Long Chen. When he heard that the God-Fiend Sacred Lord might have recovered his strength, and that he might have controlled a dozen or so Fourth Era's original ancestor gods, his expression became incomparably solemn. The dragon sacrificial continent was protected by the Guardian Array. Nothing would happen in a short period of time. Even if someone attacked, Long Chen could rush back at the fastest speed possible. Therefore, he was naturally prepared to bring Lingxi, Mo Xiaolang, and Li Xuanji along with him to the primal chaos divine world. Let's go! Long Chen called out. He brought the three through the Death Realm Dragon Gate and directly crossed hundreds of millions of miles to appear in the primal chaos divine world. As soon as they arrived in the primal chaos divine world, primordial chaos ancestor god and creation ancestor god welcomed them with nervous and solemn expressions. Long Chen, you're here. Hurry up and follow me to take a look. The primal chaos ancestor god is confronting them alone. I'm afraid the situation isn't very good. Creation Ancestor God said as he led Long Chen and the others to the highest point of the primal chaos divine world. Long Chen and the others naturally followed closely behind. Soon, they arrived at the Guardian Array of the primal chaos divine world. They saw the primal chaos ancestor God talking to a large group of people through the Guardian Array. Long Chen's heart shuddered. He immediately looked outside the primal chaos divine world. He saw many familiar faces. Some were former opponents, and some were former comrades. There were a total of 11 people. Past and future ancestor, Era Ancestor, Tao Ancestor, Blood Demon Ancestor. These three were originally controlled by the God-fiend Sacred Lord. Now, they've really gathered together. Xueqi Ancestor, Hexapath Ancestor, Creation Ancestor, these three were originally on our side. Now they're actually on the enemy's side. Destiny Star Ancestor, Primordial War Ancestor, Origin Soul Ancestor, Great Dream Heart Ancestor, Nature Ancestor. These five don't look right. I'm afraid they're really controlled by the God-fiend Sacred Lord. Long Chen quickly glanced at the 11 people on the other side. His heart sank. The Primal Chaos Ancestor God finally heaved a sigh of relief when he saw Long Chen. Long Chen, you're here. Is there any movement from the God-fiend Sacred Lord? Long Chen's expression was solemn. He said, the life particles that the God-fiend Sacred Lord transformed into have completely disappeared from the myriad worlds. I'm afraid he's already recovered some of his strength and has awakened. Moreover, these 11 Fourth Era's progenitor gods, who were once our comrades, I'm afraid they've already been controlled by him. What? The God-fiend Sacred Lord has awakened? The Primal Chaos Ancestor God, Primordial Chaos Ancestor God, and the Creation Ancestor God were shocked when they heard this news. Their eyes immediately revealed an incomparably solemn look. If the God-fiend Sacred Lord had awakened, then it wasn't hard to understand why the 11 Fourth Era Ancestor gods were acting strangely. Just like the Chaos Whole Witch Ancestor, these 11 people were probably under the God-fiend Sacred Lord's control. Things aren't confirmed yet. I'll test them again. Long Chen suppressed the thought of charging out. He looked at the past and future ancestor in the center of the enemy's camp, the ethereal beauty in white muslin. Past and future ancestor. Perhaps I should call you the God-fiend Sacred Lord? Long Chen's words contained suppressed anger. He would never forget that the 8 dragon servants were refined into soul-devouring beasts by the God-fiend Sacred Lord. This hatred, Long Chen had to take revenge. Now that the God-fiend Sacred Lord had awakened and was secretly taking action, it was most likely that he was looking for a bargaining chip to fight against Long Chen. Now that the 11 Fourth Era Ancestor gods had gathered, it was already a great pressure on Long Chen's camp. The new book, Heaven Devouring Chronicles, had been released. Chapter 3705. After saying that, Long Chen waited for the other party's response. If the divine demon Sacred Lord had really awakened and controlled the 11 Fourth Era Ancestor gods, then there was no need for him to continue hiding now that Long Chen had appeared. As expected, when Long Chen appeared and asked the question, the 11 Fourth Era's ancestral gods immediately removed their disguises. Their eyes were filled with a dark aura. As expected of Long Chen, the inheritor of the ancestral dragon. You saw through our disguises. But now, I have 11 Fourth Era Ancestor gods under my control. How are you going to fight me? Ha ha ha. The Blood Demon Ancestor's voice sounded. This was the divine demon Sacred Lord speaking through the Blood Demon Ancestor's body. He laughed arrogantly. Originally, I wanted the Chaos Ancestral God, the Creation Ancestral God, and the Primordial Ancestral God to become my subordinates. But since you've appeared, there's no need for that. These 11 ancestral gods of the Fourth Era are more than enough to annihilate all of you, Long Chen. The voice of the Tao Ancestor of the First Era resounded. It was also sinister and terrifying. Divine Demon Sacred Lord, you're courting death. How are my 8 dragon attendants now? Long Chen's eyes were almost spewing flames of anger. When the other party admitted that he was the Divine Demon Sacred Lord, the hatred in his heart exploded. I'm afraid you won't be able to see whether I die or not. But now you will die. As for your 8 dragon attendants, they're living well with me. The Era Tao Ancestor's eerie laughter sounded. It was also controlled by the Divine Demon Sacred Lord. There's no point in talking so much. Since you're all together now, it's about time to kill all of you. Are you coming out to fight, or are you waiting for us to attack the Chaos Divine Realm? The past and future ancestor's ethereal voice sounded, but there was a hint of eeriness in her tone. Following her words, the 11 Fourth Era Ancestor gods outside the Chaos Divine Realm released their tyrannical auras at almost the same time, pressing down on the entire Chaos Divine Realm. If the 11 Fourth Era's ancestral gods joined forces and attacked at the same time, Even the chaotic divine world's protective formation would not be able to last long. If the other party were to invade the primal chaos divine world, all living beings would be plunged into misery and suffering. This was clearly not something that Long Chen wanted to see. There's no other way. We can only take the initiative to attack. Otherwise, the chaos divine world will be destroyed. Long Chen's face darkened as he said to Chaos Ancestral God and Lingxi. But there are 11 of them, and they are all fourth epoch progenitor gods. We only have 7. The Chaos Ancestral God frowned slightly. He glanced at the other party, and then at his own camp. Soon he came to a conclusion. If we attack now, we probably won't be a match for them. Even if you, Long Chen, can take on 3 of them alone, we still won't be a match for them. That's not the most troublesome thing. The most troublesome thing is that the Divine Demon Lord controlled the 11 fourth epoch ancestral gods to fight with us. Clearly, he wants us to exhaust ourselves. Ancestor God Creation said solemnly. That's right. Chaos Ancestral God nodded. His brows were furrowed with deep worry. Let alone the fact that the 7 of us aren't a match for them. Even if we can suppress them, what can we do? Although you, Long Chen, can kill them without destroying the world's origin, they were originally on our side. It's just that they are being controlled by the Divine Demon Lord. I know that, Long Chen said resolutely. It's very difficult for us to kill them. All of this is because the Divine Demon Lord wants us to kill each other. He wants us to exhaust most of our fighting strength. Then, he will appear at the end and kill us all at once. But even if we know this, there's nothing we can do. This battle is unavoidable. That's right. Are we going to watch the primal chaos divine world be breached? Emo Xiaolang said solemnly. The primal chaos divine world cannot be breached. Otherwise, the myriad worlds will not have peace. We must stop them outside the primal chaos divine world today. Li Xuanji nodded. I'll listen to Chen. Lingxi looked at Long Chen. She would do whatever Long Chen said without any hesitation. Sigh, this is the only thing we can do for now. The Divine Demon Lord wants us to go out and fight them. Then, he will find an opportunity to kill us all at once. Chaos Ancestral God sighed and looked outside the Primal Chaos Divine World worriedly. The Primal Chaos Divine World was his world. Why wouldn't he want to protect it? His desire to protect the Primal Chaos Divine World was much stronger than Long Chen, Xiaolang, and the others. After all, this was his own world. But the difference in strength between the two sides was too great. It was extremely difficult to stop the other side's attack. There might even be sacrifices. In comparison, the other side didn't feel any pressure. If they could kill any one of Long Chen's side, it would be a great advantage for them. Especially when the other side was under the Divine Demon Lord's control. Was there anything they couldn't do? Long Chen's group of 7 had to deal with the 11 fourth epoch's primordial ancestor gods controlled by the Divine Demon Sacred Master. Moreover, they had to be careful not to kill the other party at all times. With their hands and feet tied, the chances of them winning this battle were slim. But as Long Chen said, they couldn't retreat from this battle. Once they did, there would be no peace in the myriad worlds. Facing the Divine Demon Lord and his 11 fourth era ancestral gods, if even Long Chen's side retreated, who else could stop the other side from trampling on the myriad worlds? Then, since we are destined to fight, how should we fight this battle? Chaos Ancestral God looked outside the primal chaos divine world, and his eyes shone with intense battle intent. He didn't mind sacrificing himself, but he was afraid that the sacrifice would be worthless. If he was destined to die in this battle, then he had to buy enough time for the billions of living beings in the primal chaos divine world. There are 11 of them and 7 of us. Since that's the case, each of you will take 1. I will take 5. Long Chen said after pondering for a moment. The 3 primal chaos ancestral gods, Ling Shi, and the others were all dumbfounded. One person taking on 5? What a bold statement this was. Big brother, are you confident? Emo Xiaolang was a little worried. As long as you can take on 1 of them, I can take on 5. At the very least, we can't let the other side break through the primal chaos divine world, said Long Chen. Since you're confident, then it's settled. Long Chen, this battle depends on you. Chaos Ancestral God said in a deep voice. If he was strong enough, He definitely wouldn't let Long Chen take the risk and fight 1 against 5. After all, the risk was too great. There was a 99% chance that Long Chen wouldn't be able to resist and would die. But now, Chaos Ancestral God could only take on one of them, and so could the others. Since that was the case, he could only leave the remaining 5 to Long Chen. The new book, Heaven Devouring Chronicles, had been updated to Chapter 13. Chapter 14 would be updated between 21 and 22 p.m., and there might be a red packet password at the end of the chapter. In the future, there might be a red packet password at the end of the chapter. Everyone could read while snatching red packets. Have fun. But remember to collect the new book when you read it. Chapter 3706. When Long Chen decided to fight 1 against 5, the Chaos Ancestor Gods, Primordial Chaos Ancestor Gods, Creation Ancestor Gods, as well as Lingxi, Mo Xiaolang, and Li Xuanji, all 6 of them could only agree. Although it was extremely dangerous, it was, in fact, the only way out. If Long Chen could block the 5 of them, then everything would be fine. But if he couldn't, then everything would be over. 1 against 5 and 1 against 3 are 2 completely different concepts. Long Chen, be careful. Creation Ancestor God said. That's right. Although you could fight against me, Destiny Star Ancestor, and Creation Ancestor Monster, there's still a huge difference between 3 and 5. You must be careful. The Chaos Ancestor God said with a solemn expression. Everyone, don't worry. We'll give it our all in this battle. I can guarantee that I can at least hold on for a while. As long as one of you can take down the opponent first, the situation will be much better. Long Chen said solemnly, glancing at Mo Xiaolang and Lingxi. Currently, the strongest on their side, apart from Long Chen, were undoubtedly Xiaolang and Lingxi. Xiaolang's strength was unquestionable. Previously, he had single-handedly defeated 2 4th-era Ancestor God realm primogenitors, Ancestor Ghost Fox and Ancestor Baze. Now that he was facing a 4th-era Ancestor God, the pressure wasn't too great. If he could make a breakthrough on his side, then the overall situation would be good. As for Lingxi, she could already defeat the Mortal People Emperor Ancestor a long time ago. Her methods couldn't be underestimated. Now that she had cultivated for a long time, her strength was much stronger than before. In this battle, she might be the first to make a breakthrough. As for Li Xuanji, she had just merged with the origin dragon soul of the looming Shadow Dream Dragon. She probably had the strength of the end of the 4th era. In this aspect, it would be more difficult for her to make a breakthrough. However, at least the looming Shadow Dream Dragon's rule of illusion and transformation allowed her to hold off her opponent for a long time. Among the Chaos Ancestor God, Fortune Ancestor God, and Grand Mist Ancestor God, the Chaos Ancestor God was the strongest, possessing the strength of the mid-4th era. As for the Fortune Ancestor God and Grand Mist Ancestor God, they were slightly weaker, comparable to the current Li Xuanji. Let's go. Let's go and find the opponent we're most confident in dealing with. Long Chen called out and took the lead to fly out of the Chaos Divine World. Time was too tight and the other party did not give them much time to discuss. They immediately prepared to attack the Chaos Divine World. Therefore, Long Chen had no choice but to fly out of the Chaos Divine World. In order to prevent the Chaos Divine World from being destroyed, he had to block the other party's attack. The other party's first wave of attack was launched by the 5 strongest mid-4th era Ancestor Gods. They were the Past and Future Ancestor, the Blood Demon Ancestor, the Era Dao Ancestor, and the Destiny Star Ancestor and the Founding Demon Ancestor from Long Chen's original camp. The 5 of them attacked together, and the power of the rule covered the sky and covered the earth. It formed countless colorful lights and turned into a light pillar that bombarded the Chaos Divine World's protective array diagram. Long Chen arrived at the first moment. His eyes were calm, but there was a burning hatred in the depths of his eyes. Divine Demon Holy Lord. Long Chen blocked the entire sky of the Chaos Divine World by himself. His body became taller than ever, and he held the Slaughter Blood Sword in his left hand. The Slaughter Law condensed into a blood-red light and bloomed. The chains of time trembled all over his body. Ka-Cob sounds rang out incessantly, accompanied by the ancient and eternal time law that merged with the slaughter law in the blood-red light. Immediately after, the necklace of fate floated up from Long Chen's neck. It seemed to condense all the fates of all living beings in the world. The rule instantly erupted, and like a raging sea, it rushed into the slaughter law and the time law. The power of the three rules appeared in three different colors. They represented different types of power, and in the next moment, they perfectly fused together. Tricolor Dragon Source. Long Chen shouted, and 99 huge divine dragon shadows stretched out from the void. Each of them had three different colors, and they represented the different power of the rules. 99 gigantic divine dragon silhouettes showed no fear in the face of the combined power of the laws of the five opponents. All of them roared and charged forward, bringing with them the terrifying might of the laws of the gods. All of a sudden, they collided with the light beam of the laws of the five opponents. As the five of them attacked casually in an attempt to break the protective array diagram of the chaos divine world, the combined power of the light beam wasn't strong. In addition, the power of the five of them wasn't too compatible, so the light beam wasn't as strong as it looked. Long Chen made his move. He single-handedly fought against the five of them. The tricolor dragon source condensed into 99 huge divine dragon shadows, and they suddenly collided with each other. The terrifying energy in the field exploded, creating a wave that shook the void. The wave spread out in all directions, almost shattering the surrounding space. However, the joint attack of the five opponents was successfully blocked by Long Chen. It didn't cause too much damage to the protective array diagram of the chaos divine world. Long Chen, you're courting death. Ha ha ha. A dreamy voice could be heard. It was Great Dream Heart Ancestor attacking Long Chen. He wanted to cooperate with the other five to kill Long Chen in a split second. The God Fiend Holy Lord controlled Great Dream Heart Ancestor. At the moment when Long Chen left the chaos divine world, he attacked Long Chen. He brought along a wave of great dream law power, wanting to shroud Long Chen in an endless dream. However, how could the others let him do as he wished? Your opponent is me. Ancestor God Creation shouted angrily. He rushed out of the chaos divine world and blocked in front of Great Dream Heart Ancestor, not letting him join in the attack on Long Chen. Now that Long Chen was fighting against the five alone, the pressure was great. If they couldn't stop the others, Long Chen might be killed on the spot. We're coming. Xiao Lang, Lingxi, and Li Xuanji also rushed out of the chaos divine world and quickly joined the battlefield. They blocked the other ancestor gods who wanted to rush over and attack Long Chen. The six of them held back the other six ancestor gods, while Long Chen faced the remaining 5 fourth-era ancestor gods alone. The past and future ancestors, the Tao ancestors of the epoch, the Blood Demon Ancestor, the Destiny Star Ancestor, and the Demon Ancestor Founder. These 5 elder gods were all elder gods of the middle stage of the fourth era. They were the 5 most powerful figures in the enemy's camp, and when they joined forces, their combat prowess would absolutely surpass anyone's imagination. Long Chen could sense the auras of the 5 of them, and he felt an enormous pressure on him. However, Long Chen had no intention of retreating. Because if he retreated, the chaos divine world would perish, and even the entire myriad worlds would perish. Long Chen, since you've come out, then I won't hold back. The God Fiend Holy Lord controlled the past and future ancestor. His voice came faintly. However, because it was the God Fiend Holy Lord who was controlling it, the voice was still a little sinister. Chapter 3707. As the voice of the ancestor of the past and future spread, the 5 mid-stage ancestor gods of the fourth era attacked one after another, surrounding Long Chen in an instant. No matter which direction Long Chen wanted to escape to, the 5 of them would be able to stop him at the fastest speed possible. Under such circumstances, Long Chen basically had no chance of escaping. At this moment, Long Chen only had one way to go, and that was to fight to the death. Behind him was the Chaos Divine Realm, and even the safety of the entire myriad realms depended on Long Chen. Under such circumstances, even if it was a hopeless battle to the death, Long Chen would not retreat, not to mention that this battle was not without hope. Although Long Chen did not make a big breakthrough during the previous period of cultivation, he managed to further consolidate his strength, fuse the 7 ancestral dragon legacies more perfectly, and comprehend some new ways of fusing nomological laws. Although it was still very difficult to defeat the 5 ancestral gods of the fourth era when they joined forces, there was still a glimmer of hope. Moreover, Long Chen was best at making breakthroughs in battle. Such a high-intensity battle would definitely force Long Chen to his limits, and he might even make a breakthrough as a result. The other glimmer of hope lay in the other 6, especially Lingxi and Xiao Lang. If the two of them could quickly finish off their opponents, the overall situation would definitely turn for the better. Moreover, the Chaos Ancestral God was a mid-stage ancestral god of the 4th era. His opponent was a late-stage ancestral god of the 4th era, so his chances of winning were very high. Overall, Long Chen might not necessarily lose in this aspect. Storm of the Past and Future. The ancestor of the past and future surrounded Long Chen. Her figure was faintly discernible, but she exuded a murderous aura, giving off an endless sense of terror and oppression. The temporal nomological laws of the past and future bloomed from her hands, forming a whirling nomological storm. In this nomological storm, the past and the future intertwined, and the past and present intertwined, making it difficult to tell which was which. This nomological storm of the past and future surged out from the hands of the ancestor of the past and future, rolling towards Long Chen. Wherever it went, even the void was swept up, constantly twisting and shattering in the chaos of the past and future. Previously, Long Chen's impression of the ancestor of the past and future was that her ability to escape was top-notch. If he had not thought of a way to restrain her, he probably would not have been able to kill the chaotic whole ancestor and force the sacred fiend god lord to turn into life particles. Yet now, the past and future ancestors had fused the temporal laws of the past and future together, intersecting and complementing each other to form a spatial storm. Its destructive power was actually so terrifying. Long Chen's expression was grave. His opponent's storm of the past and future came too quickly, and he had no time to react. He could only subconsciously wave the slaughtering blood sword in his left hand and condense the slaughtering rules. The blood-red power of the slaughter laws condensed into a sky-piercing sword light that shot out from the slaughter blood sword, clashing head-on with the past and future ancestor storm of past and future. The sword light of bloody slaughter tore through the sky, shattering the void, and pierced into the storm of the ancestor of the past and future. The dual laws of the past and future merged, stirring up the wind and clouds, trying to turn the sword light into an incorporeal existence in the river of time. However, the blood slaughter sword's power of laws was also extraordinary, especially now that Long Chen had gained some understanding of this move. The scarlet sword light instantly shattered the storm of the past and the future, causing the two intertwining forces of the rules of time to completely explode. They exploded right between Long Chen and the ancestors of the past and future before gradually dissipating. Taste my life-sealing art. It was also at this moment that the Destiny Star ancestor revealed his true form at the side. The Destiny Star beast shone with dazzling starlight, like a boundless and vast star field, almost enveloping the entire area. The entire starry sky was filled with countless twinkling starlights, and the power of rules surged towards Long Chen. The Destiny Star pagoda descended from the sky, suppressing Long Chen, who was fighting the ancestor of the past and future. The same move is useless against me. Long Chen was calm. The psychedelic pendant floated up, activating the ancient dream laws, turning himself into a Destiny Star beast. He also held the Destiny Star pagoda and used the life-sealing art to resist. The life-sealing art of both sides clashed, and the same power of laws roared and trembled before dissipating into nothingness. For Long Chen, since he had already broken through the opponent's move once, he could easily break through it a second time. There was no suspense to speak of, and the time needed to break through the second time was much shorter and easier than the first time. The Destiny Star ancestor's move had never intended to do anything to Long Chen. He only wanted to buy time and restrain Long Chen a little. After all, the 5 ancestral gods of the 4th era were all controlled by the divine demon Holy Master alone. The degree of cooperation definitely surpassed the 5 of them joining forces. As soon as the Destiny Star ancestor's move was broken by Long Chen, a sea of blood descended from the sky. The blood demon ancestor took advantage of this moment to launch an attack. Endless blood demon laws surged down like a torrential downpour, covering the entire void where Long Chen was. There was nowhere to escape and nowhere to hide. Primordial Blood Sea. The blood demon ancestor's move descended, and the entire space turned into a primordial blood sea. The endless power of blood demon laws in the sea of blood seemed to want to drink all the blood in the world, and pounced on Long Chen like an ancient ferocious beast. The endless primordial blood sea enveloped Long Chen, but Long Chen did not hesitate. The time chain and the primordial bone sword fused together, and with a wave, the rules of time and the primordial catastrophe condensed, instantly releasing 9 brilliant desolate sword lights. Time 9 Tribulation's Sword. Long Chen said in a low voice. With the primordial bone sword in hand, he condensed the power of time into the sword light, fusing it into the Time 9 Tribulation sword, and shot toward the endless primordial blood sea, causing the time of the entire primordial blood sea to instantly stop. Then, under the attack of the 9 Tribulation sword lights, the endless blood was all dragged into the samsara of time, turning into nothingness. Long Chen could feel that the attack of the other three was just a test, and they had not used their full strength. He was afraid that when the other party used their full strength, they would be able to kill him. Therefore, Long Chen did not act impulsively, and did not use any new trump card that was too strong. It was to guard against the killer move that the other party had prepared for him. Not bad, not bad. Your strength is beyond my imagination. Fortunately, I came prepared, otherwise I would have really failed miserably, hee. The blood demon ancestor's voice was extremely sinister and bloody, and with the cooperation of the divine demon Saint Master, it was even more disgusting. Although his primordial blood sea had been broken by Long Chen, he was not anxious at all. Obviously, it was just as Long Chen had thought, the other party was still at the stage of probing. The new book Heaven Swallowing Story had another chapter update at around 22 p.m. Chapter 3708. The battle didn't stop. Sacred Lord God Fiend controlled the 5 ancestral gods to attack Long Chen. He wouldn't give Long Chen any chance to catch his breath. After the blood demon ancestor's attack ended, the remaining Era Dao ancestor and ancestral god actually teamed up under the control of Sacred Lord God Fiend. Just like how Long Chen combined his 2 laws, they fused the laws of creation and the laws of Era together. The demonic ancestor had sparred with Long Chen before, and his first move, Divine Light, was extremely terrifying. At this moment, the ancestral god turned back into his true body. The ancestral god beast was engulfed in the boundless laws of creation within a white cloud and gradually formed a white hole in the void. The Era Dao ancestor released the light of the Era Dao ancestor. Countless rays of the laws of Era were continuously absorbed by the ancestral god's white hole. From the start of the battle, the Era Dao ancestor and the ancestral god had already started to fuse these 2 laws. Under the control of Sacred Lord God Fiend, the 2 quickly fused their powers. This speed was even faster than Long Chen fusing the laws of the 2 god dragons. Of course, it was also possible that Sacred Lord God Fiend had already controlled the 2 of them to comprehend the laws of Era before they came out of the primal chaos god realm. In any case, after the blood demon ancestor's desolate ancient blood sea was broken by Long Chen, the fusion technique of the Era Dao ancestor and the ancestral god descended. Era's destruction. The Era Dao ancestor and the ancestral god called out coldly. The white hole in the void instantly covered Long Chen's body. The laws of Era and the laws of creation merged together and unleashed a terrifying divine power. Long Chen's heart shook. He could feel that the power of the fusion of the 2 laws was extremely terrifying. He couldn't underestimate it, or else he would suffer greatly. The destruction of an epoch is the beginning of another epoch. When the power of the creation laws is unleashed to its limits, it also possesses the divine might of annihilation. Long Chen, you shall be annihilated along with this epoch in this world. The Dao ancestor of the Era said coldly. The combination of the Genesis and the epoch created the epoch's annihilation, which enveloped Long Chen. The power of the epoch's rule and the Genesis rule combined to create an unparalleled annihilation power that wanted to annihilate everything in the white hole of nothingness. Time. Fate. Long Chen was extremely calm in the face of the fusion of the 2 laws. Although the power of the epoch's destruction was extremely strong, it would still be difficult for it to kill Long Chen. The fate necklace and the time chain intertwined on Long Chen's body. The power of the 2 ancestral dragon laws was majestic, creating a space of nothingness beside Long Chen. In this space of nothingness, there was a constantly flowing hourglass that seemed to have existed since time immemorial. No one knew when it had appeared, and it would continue to exist for eternity. The hourglass of fate. The fusion of the laws of fate and time was unleashed once again. It continuously absorbed the power of the epoch's destruction nomological move into the hourglass of fate. As the hourglass of fate absorbed more and more of the power of the epoch's destruction, the power of fate within the hourglass flowed faster and faster. This represented the fate of the epoch's destruction technique. The hourglass flowed, and time was eternal. The hourglass of time existed in that space of nothingness for eternity. As the epoch's destruction fused with the laws, It quickly disappeared into the river of time. Long Chen also used the fusion of the two laws to destroy the epic's destruction. Of course, this was also because the other party wasn't very familiar with it. If the Tao ancestor of the era and the demon ancestor creator's power was said to be 10, then the power they used to fuse into the epic's destruction was only 7. Therefore, even if they fused the laws to unleash the epic's destruction, the total power would only be 14 and not 20. Therefore, Long Chen was still able to destroy the epic's destruction technique. After all, the other party hadn't fused all the laws. According to Long Chen's guess, this was the most powerful technique that the sacred lord of the divine demon realm could unleash while controlling the two of them. It was impossible for him to fuse more power or even fuse a law with a power of 20 for the time being. This has really exceeded my expectations. Long Chen, your speed of growth is really too fast. Did you obtain the inheritance of the 2 ancestral dragons? The blood demon ancestor's terrifying voice was heard. Immediately after, the ethereal voice of the past and future ancestor sounded again. All the inheritances you have will belong to me. When that time comes, the sky-devouring race will devour the entire world again. Everything will belong to our race. Dream on. Long Chen laughed out loud. His aura didn't diminish even though he was fighting 1 against 5. Instead, he became stronger as he fought. All the hatred and anger in his heart turned into Long Chen's power. He didn't seem to be at a disadvantage even when fighting the 5 alone. He still remembered that his 8 dragon servants elders and his father's siblings were all refined into soul-devouring beasts by the sacred lord of the divine demon realm. Now, they were definitely still in the sacred lord's hands. Therefore, the 5 ancestral gods from the 4th era weren't his final opponents. However, if he didn't defeat the 5 ancestral gods, the sacred lord of the divine demon realm naturally wouldn't appear in front of him. To the sacred lord of the divine demon realm, the safest thing to do now was to let the ancestral gods from the 4th era stall Long Chen. Then, he would reap the benefits and wait for both sides to suffer. Regardless of whether Long Chen or the 5 ancestral gods won in the end, it would still be beneficial to the sacred lord of the divine demon realm. After all, it wasn't the sky-devouring race that died, but the ancestral gods from the 4th era. When that time came, it would be much easier for the sacred lord of the divine demon realm to deal with Long Chen when Long Chen's power was weakened. Long Chen didn't have a good way to deal with the other party's strategy. Therefore, he could only face the 5 ancestral gods together. However, he didn't want to be in a passive position. The 5 ancestral gods had already displayed their moves. Next, Long Chen decided to launch a counterattack before the other party was ready. The best defense was offense. This saying was true to a certain extent. Therefore, Long Chen launched a counterattack. He didn't want the other party to have the chance to fuse the laws and attack together again. He gripped the slaughtering blood sword tightly in his left hand. In his right hand, there was a primordial calamity bone sword. The slaughtering blood sword and the primordial calamity bone sword formed a pair of swords. The slaughtering and calamity laws started to emit a scarlet color and started to fuse in a dazzling light. The first target of Long Chen's counterattack was Tao ancestor Ji Yuan. Chapter 3709. Long Chen had sparred with the fated star ancestor and the demon ancestor creator not long ago. They had always been on his side, so Long Chen did not want to use them as his main targets. There was also the ancestor of the past and future. Long Chen still remembered her escape method. If he targeted her, he might be restrained by her and give others a chance, so it was not appropriate. The blood demon ancestor could also transform into endless blood. It was still very difficult to catch him. In the end, only the Era Dao ancestor could be regarded as Long Chen's main target. Moreover, the Era Dao ancestor had just joined forces with the demon ancestor creator to fuse the Era's annihilation law. At this time, he was in the midst of regulating his breathing and could not use any powerful methods for a while. Massacre blood sword. Primordial bone sword. Dual swords. Myriad tribulation blood river. Break. Long Chen's eyes were red, and his whole body emitted the bloody light of massacre. The 2 ancestor dragon swords danced in his hands, and the manic massacre and calamity law suddenly erupted. The myriad tribulation blood river was a nomological method that he had used many times. It could use the massacre law to break through most laws, and it was a method that Long Chen was very familiar with. But now, Long Chen had fused the primordial calamity law into the myriad tribulation blood river. It was the fusion of the two swords, and the myriad tribulation blood river that erupted contained the endless power of the calamity law. Wherever this myriad tribulation blood river sword light went, space trembled and time was annihilated. Everything was turned into nothingness by the strongest massacre and calamity law. The myriad tribulation blood river and countless tribulations descended on the Era Dao ancestor's body along with the blood-colored sword light. In a hurry, the Era Dao ancestor could only raise his hand to condense the Era law. His face darkened, and the endless Era law condensed into a great Era handprint beside him. This handprint was as dark as the chaotic world at the beginning of an era. It condensed above the Era Dao ancestor's head and gathered all his Era law to meet the myriad tribulation blood river sword light. The two sides collided in the void, and the myriad tribulation's blood river sword light exploded. However, the great Era palm seal was in an even worse state. It was cut in two from the center by the myriad tribulation's blood river sword light. The strongest massacre law, the strongest primordial calamity law, instantly pierced through the great Era handprint. But soon after, the remnant power of the great Era hand seal condensed once more under the control of the Dao ancestor of the Era, forming countless miniature Era hand seals. Countless miniature Era hand seals swept toward the remaining myriad tribulation's blood river sword lights, and they kept colliding with them, shattering them into nothingness. As a result, Long Chen's attacks were blocked by Dao ancestor Ji Yuan. However, Dao ancestor Ji Yuan's face was a bit pale. This series of defenses had consumed too much of his energy. He probably wouldn't be able to fight for a while. The sacred fiend god lord didn't expect this either. Firstly, he didn't expect that Long Chen would dare to find an opportunity to counterattack. Secondly, he really didn't expect Long Chen to have so many tricks up his sleeves. Moreover, each of his nomological moves was so powerful that it was enough to fight against any Fourth Era primordial ancestor god. If two Fourth Era primordial ancestor gods joined forces, they definitely wouldn't be a match for Long Chen. In fact, even if three Fourth Era primordial ancestor gods joined forces, they would be completely suppressed by Long Chen. However, the sacred fiend god lord was still very calm. This was because he currently controlled 5 Fourth Era primordial ancestor gods. Although Dao ancestor Ji Yuan was attacked by Long Chen's myriad tribulation's blood river sword light and the power in his body was in a mess, temporarily unable to condense power, there were still 4 Fourth Era primordial ancestor gods. They wouldn't give Long Chen another chance to attack Dao ancestor Ji Yuan. This was the benefit of joining forces. Among the 5 of them, no matter which one Long Chen wanted to attack, he would have to deal with the others. It was too difficult to kill one of them while fighting 1 against 5. We can end it here. Trillion Blood Demon True Bodies. The Blood Demon ancestor's eyes flashed with a blood-colored light, and his voice was cold. The Blood Demon law all over his body turned into a blood aura that spread throughout the entire space. Then, this blood aura condensed, and each drop of blood turned into a clone of the Blood Demon ancestor. The Trillion Blood Demon True Bodies attacked. This was one of the most powerful laws that the Blood Demon ancestor had mastered. He could instantly summon a trillion Blood Demon True Bodies. Using the Blood Demon law as a medium, each Blood Demon True Body possessed extremely terrifying destructive power. A trillion Blood Demon True Bodies instantly occupied the entire space. As Long Chen looked over, the entire field of vision became the Blood Demon ancestor's world. No matter where he looked, he could see millions of Blood Demon ancestor clones, and he couldn't tell which one was the main body. Blood Demon True Bodies. Explode. The Blood Demon ancestor's cold voice traveled over. Then, the trillion Blood Demon True Bodies rushed toward Long Chen. Each Blood Demon True Body would explode after colliding with Long Chen. The scarlet brilliance of the Blood Demon law enveloped the entire area, turning Long Chen's body blood red. A trillion Blood Demon ancestor clones, and each explosion could kill billions of living beings and demons. When all of them combined and exploded toward Long Chen, the power would definitely be able to completely annihilate Long Chen. When faced with this move, Long Chen's expression was unprecedentedly solemn. Time. Transform. The power of the laws manifested in Long Chen's entire body. The chains of time intertwined, and the changing laws surged into the chains of time from a psychedelic pendant, forming a changing time ancient realm. Trillion time ancient realm. A dazzling brilliance bloomed in Long Chen's eyes. The power of the time laws and the dream laws intertwined and intertwined endlessly, forming a time ancient realm with trillions of changes beside Long Chen. In this time ancient realm, every change would cause a Long Chen to appear. Then, he would attract one of the blood demon ancestor clones to collide with him and explode. However, the power of the explosion was in a different time and space. It didn't affect Long Chen in the slightest. The trillions of ancient time domain and trillions of variations faced the blood demon great ancestors' trillions of blood demon true bodies. Every variation would destroy one of the blood demon great ancestors' doppelgangers for no reason. Within the ever-changing ancient time domain, the trillions of blood demon great ancestors' doppelgangers that filled the sky were all completely shattered in the ancient time domain. They weren't able to harm Long Chen at all. Fate Source / However, just as Long Chen destroyed the blood demon ancestors' trillions of blood demon ancestors' clones, the Fate Star ancestors' attack came again. Endless Fate Law turned into a blade light that could slash through fate. It could slash through all fates and cut off the source of life. This was the Fate Source / The blade light that slashed through fate descended, but Long Chen wasn't afraid. He raised his head and held the primordial bone sword in his hand tightly. The primordial calamity law surged out, accompanied by the Karma Halberd's release of the Karma Law. The two sides merged again. Between 20:22 p.m., Chapter 20 of the New Heaven Swallowing Chronicles was updated. From today onwards, it will be updated at high speed. There will be explosive updates in the future. Judging from the situation with Dragon's Blood, it's almost done. Because it's very difficult to write the ending, I can only slow it down. My current situation is that when I write Dragon's Blood, I get a headache. Once I write a new book, I'll be full of energy. Everyone, please forgive me. All authors have this annoying habit of liking the new and hating the old. Everyone can add Frenzied's WeChat. Fenkingyang. You can see the Heaven Swallowing Chronicles logo and Frenzied's photo. As for the female lead of the new book, you can see it on the left side of that picture. Of course, the female lead was on the right side. But let me tell everyone, in this vast Xianxia world, the golden cudgel is just the beginning. Chapter 37:10. Extreme Karma Extermination. Facing the Fate Star ancestors' consummate technique, the Fate Source Chop, Long Chen used a somewhat similar move, the Extreme Karma Extermination. He fused the rules of the Great Desolate Era's calamity with the rules of karma, forming an absolute power that could completely annihilate karma. Strike of Fate's source, the saber light that shattered fate broke through the air. Extreme Karma Extermination gave off a two-colored light that illuminated the void and violently clashed with the saber light of Strike of Fate's source. Fate and karma were both mysterious rule. An indescribable power exploded in the void, engulfing, annihilating, and destroying. Even the nearby space completely collapsed because of it. Long Chen once again blocked Destiny Star Ancestor's move. This series of battles to his heart's content had deepened his understanding of the rule, especially the slaughter rule that he had used many times. He seemed to have gained some kind of enlightenment between life and death, making his heart beat faster as if he was about to make a breakthrough. However, he still lacked a real opportunity to truly make a breakthrough and condense the sixth slaughter rule's world's origin. He could only feel that he was very close to making a real breakthrough. Originally, after spending so much time on the fourth floor of the Tower of Time, he had mainly comprehended the slaughter rule. He had put in a lot of effort in this direction. Now, after a series of extreme battles, his understanding of the slaughter rule had deepened. However, at this moment, the Divine Demon Holy Lord did not want to give Long Chen any more chances. The past and future ancestors had finally prepared a super big move when Long Chen was fighting the other four ancestor gods. They released it towards Long Chen just as Destiny Star Ancestor's attack landed. Two extreme worlds. The past and future ancestors' figures were ethereal and graceful, but their hands held boundless murderous intent. One hand held the past, the other held the future. The two kinds of rule condensed into two completely different worlds. Long Chen, you will die here today. Once you're dead, I'll let those 8 seniors of yours devour your soul, and then refine you into a new soul-devouring beast. As for the essence blood of the divine dragon in your body, let me use it to liberate the divine lords of the sky-swallowing clan and devour the entire myriad world. The blood demon ancestor's sinister voice sounded from the side, trying to disturb Long Chen. However, Long Chen had already focused all of his attention on the ancestor of the past and future. This was because he could sense that the ancestor of the past and future had gathered all of the Fourth Era's ancestor gods' power for this move. The ancestors of the past and future had never unleashed such a terrifying technique before. There were two worlds, the past world and the future world. Each world contained endless transformations, and if the two worlds collided, it would produce unparalleled destructive power. After using this move, the past and future ancestors' strength will be greatly weakened for a period of time. This is a method that will injure both sides. However, now that the ancestors of the past and future are controlled by the divine demon Holy Lord, even if they are injured, it will only be the ancestors of the past and future who are injured. It doesn't matter to the divine demon Holy Lord at all. Long Chen gritted his teeth. The two worlds were already attacking him from both sides. Along the way, the void shattered and time changed. The terrifying destructive power of the two worlds turned everything along the way into nothingness and shattered. Then, it was about to devour Long Chen. Facing the strongest move that the Fourth Era's ancestor god could unleash, Long Chen focused all of his attention on it. If he couldn't withstand it, he would die. Then, just as the blood demon ancestor had said, the essence blood would be taken away by the divine demon Holy Lord, and the other divine lords of the sky-swallowing clan would be released. When that happened, the myriad world would be finished. Massacre blood sword. Time chain. Karma halberd. Life necklace. The four world origins on Long Chen's body began to tremble. Massacre, time, karma, and life. The four unprecedented ancestral dragon rules began to fuse amidst the trembling. This was Long Chen's strongest move at the moment, and it was also a move that he wasn't very confident of unleashing and controlling. The fusion of the four ancestral dragon rules was extremely difficult for him. If he wasn't careful, it would cause the rules to clash with each other. If that happened, he wouldn't be able to unleash the move, and he would be annihilated in the clash of rules. However, at this critical juncture, Long Chen had no choice but to use this move. Even the tricolored dragon source, which was a fusion of three nomological laws, would only be able to block one of his opponent's worlds at most. As for the two worlds that the past and future had unleashed, they complemented each other and complemented each other. If there was only the power to destroy one world, then the final result would be that neither world could be completely destroyed. When they collided, Long Chen would be completely finished. 4 Ultimate. Sanctuary. Long Chen clenched his teeth as he fused the power of the four rules. The scarlet color of massacre flowed in the river of time, and the life and karma rules intertwined endlessly. Immediately after, the life rules were integrated into the river of time, and even the power of massacre became extremely agile. As the karma rules dispersed and fused, the four rules finally fused perfectly. The 4 Ultimate Sanctuary was the final move that Long Chen could unleash now. In order to resist the two worlds of the past and future ancestors, this was the only move he could use to break through it. For spaces of nothingness appeared around Long Chen's body. In each space of nothingness, there seemed to be an ancestral divine dragon soaring. This was the 4 Ultimate Sanctuary, for worlds that had fused 4 types of laws. The 4 Ultimate Sanctuary was against the 2 worlds of the 2 Ultimate Sanctuary. Every void space was against a world of the past and future. Terrifying energy waves exploded the moment the two sides made contact, annihilating all the void in the surroundings. Time was in chaos, and the scarlet color of massacre swept across the entire area. The power of the two worlds of the past and future broke through the shackles and fought against the 4 Ultimate Sanctuary. Terrifying power that surpassed the Fourth Era's ancestral gods erupted in full force, and a powerful impact erupted in all directions, forcing Long Chen and the 5 ancestral gods to retreat. No one could survive such a clash of power. Even Long Chen and the past and future ancestors, the 2 initiators, had no choice but to retreat from the place where the rules from both sides had erupted. However, this made Long Chen realize something terrifying. Because the 2 sides were fighting outside the Chaos Divine Realm, this explosion that surpassed the limits of the world had instantly affected the Chaos Divine Realm. Chapter 37:11. When the protective array of the chaotic divine world was destroyed, The dancing fire continent was completely annihilated in the clash of attacks. Countless people were plunged into misery and suffering. Long Chen's eyes almost emitted flames, and the blue veins on his body bulged. He should have known that the Fourth Era's ancestral god-level existences fighting near the chaotic divine realm would definitely be a disaster for the chaotic divine realm. It was an unstoppable disaster. Although Long Chen could only use this method to fight against the 5 Fourth Era's ancestral gods, the consequences of the battle were still unbearable for Long Chen. Just the Fire Dance continent alone has billions and billions of creatures. Gods, devils, and venerables. That's an innumerable number of innocent lives. If it were any other time, it would be fine if they were destroyed. I can use the life law to resurrect them. Unless the chaotic ancestral god dies, they won't really die. But Long Chen's eyes were filled with anger. At this time, there was no time for him to use the life law to resurrect the lives of the dancing fire continent that had been destroyed. The divine demon Sacred Lord had already caused enough damage to the myriad worlds. Now, he had brought about almost irreparable damage. This made Long Chen's hatred for the divine demon Sacred Lord deepen. Even if he died, he would completely destroy the divine demon Sacred Lord and never be able to reincarnate. The anger in Long Chen's chest continued to burn, but the divine demon Sacred Lord didn't care. The angrier Long Chen was, the more irrational he was, the easier it was for the divine demon Sacred Lord to deal with him. What do you think, Long Chen? You've become extremely powerful, so powerful that you've surpassed my expectations. However, so what if you've become so powerful? Can you stop the chaotic divine realm from being destroyed? Can you still resurrect the billions of lives? You can't. The divine demon Sacred Lord's words were transmitted through the Era Dao ancestor. His tone was sinister, but it carried a perverted sense of carefreeness. Now, I'll let you feel deeper pain and stronger anger. Ha ha ha. When the Dao ancestor of the epic era said this, he seemed to have gone mad. His face was filled with cruelty as he gathered the power of the laws of the endless eras, forming the technique he had just used against Long Chen, the grand epic hand. From the boundless void, the epic laws converged majestically. A hand seal that contained the power of countless epic laws descended from the sky and slammed down on the primal chaos divine world, which had already been destroyed by the protective formation diagram. If the power of the Fourth Era's ancestor god bombarded the primal chaos divine world, the entire primal chaos divine world would definitely be destroyed. All living beings would disappear, annihilated, and become the history of the starry sky. Everything would disappear. Stop. Long Chen's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. The temporal chains rumbled as they moved. They wanted to use a temporal binding technique to stop Dao ancestor Ji Yuan's brutal actions. But right at this moment, the other 4 ancestral gods controlled by the divine demon lord roared with laughter. Long Chen, do you want to stop this from happening? It's a pity that you don't have such power yet. The blood demon ancestor's sinister voice rang out. Then, together with the past and future ancestors, the Destiny Star ancestor, and the demonic creator ancestor, they surrounded and attacked Long Chen. The joint attack of the 4 ancestral gods from the Fourth Era posed an endless threat to Long Chen. If he disregarded everything to stop Dao ancestor Ji Yuan, he would definitely be killed by the joint attack of the 4 ancestral gods. As long as Long Chen died, the primal chaos divine world would eventually be destroyed. In comparison, Long Chen had no choice but to resist the joint attack of the 4 ancestral gods. The majestic power of laws erupted once again. At this moment, Long Chen's mind was completely focused on the chaos divine world. The entire chaos divine world was reflected in his eyes. Under the great epic seal of the Dao ancestor, the chaos divine world was completely shattered into dust. The entire chaos divine world exploded, and the billions of living beings within were not spared. They were completely annihilated by this attack. Divine Demon Holy Lord, you will die a horrible death. Long Chen was enraged, and his eyes were bloodshot. Witnessing the destruction of the primal chaos divine world at the hands of Dao ancestor Ji Yuan, and the billions of living beings were annihilated, Long Chen's emotions were indescribable. The flames of anger were about to explode from within him. If you want me to die a horrible death, you need to have the ability to do so. This is not something that can be achieved by just talking nonsense. Long Chen, don't you agree? The ethereal voice of the past and future ancestor sounded, and the cold aura within it made Long Chen even more furious. The divine demon Holy Lord was the enemy of all worlds. He had to be annihilated. This is just the beginning. All worlds will be destroyed sooner or later. It's just a matter of time. Long Chen, you won't be able to stop all of this with your ability. The blood demon ancestor's voice was cold as he continued to attack Long Chen. You're too weak, Long Chen. Just let me devour you and contribute to the sky devouring race. After all, it's futile no matter how much you resist. The Fate Star ancestor was also controlled by the divine demon Holy Lord to speak. He tried to use words to attack Long Chen and make Long Chen lose his confidence. However, how could Long Chen lose his confidence just because of a few words? Whether it was the death of the primal chaos divine world or the blood demon ancestor's words, they would only make Long Chen angrier and not make him lose his will. The death of billions of living beings and the destruction of the primal chaos divine world could only be paid with the life of the divine demon Holy Lord. Primal chaos divine world. In the distance, the primal chaos ancestral god watched as the primal chaos divine world was completely destroyed by the Tao ancestor Ji Yuan's attack. The billions of living beings were annihilated, and tears welled up in his eyes. This was his world, and it had accompanied him for countless years. It carried the majority of his emotions in his life. But now, the entire primal chaos divine world had been destroyed by the Tao ancestor Ji Yuan. It was completely destroyed and no longer existed. However, the primal chaos ancestral god had no time to be sad or emotional. His opponent wouldn't give him any time. While he was distracted, sharp killing intent descended upon him once more. The destruction of the primal chaos divine world made the primal chaos ancestral god's killing intent rise. Even if his opponent was also a fourth-era origin ancestor god, killing him would also cause the destruction of a world. However, the primal chaos ancestral god had seen through everything. If they continued to be restrained like this, they definitely wouldn't be a match for the divine demon Holy Lord. Only by killing could he stop his opponent from killing even more. The primal chaos ancestral god was prepared to use all his strength to kill his fourth-era origin ancestor god opponent. He was stronger than his opponent in the first place, but he had been restrained previously and couldn't use his full strength. Now that he was attacking with all his strength, it wouldn't take long for him to kill his opponent. But at this moment, the killing intent hidden in the surrounding void suddenly erupted and pounced towards the 6 people besides Long Chen. It was the 8-headed soul-devouring beast that had been hidden for a long time. Chapter 37:12. The 8 soul-devouring beasts were the deadly beasts that the Sacred Lord had created by devouring Long Chen's 8 seniors, the 8 dragon servants. After a period of growth, each soul-devouring beast could barely match the strength of a 4th-era ancestral god. With 8 soul-devouring beasts added together, it was definitely a tremendous battle force. Xueqi, the chaos ancestral god, and the others had the upper hand against the 6 4th-era ancestor gods controlled by the divine demon lord. But with the appearance of the 8 soul-devouring beasts, the situation changed. All of you have the world origin as well. Of course, that's excluding the traitor of the Sky-Swallowing clan. Since that's the case, I'll control the other 5 and make you work for me. The blood demon ancestor's voice sounded. Then, the 8 soul-devouring beasts charged at Xueqi and the others. The chaos ancestral god was the first to be attacked. The Chaos Ancestral God was just about to deal a killing blow to deal with his 4th-era's ancestral god opponent, but 2 soul-devouring beasts suddenly rushed out and attacked him from both sides. A manic and sinister aura enveloped him, and the crisis of death descended upon him. Great chaotic world. The Chaos Ancestral God's face darkened, and he immediately unleashed his most powerful nomological technique. Long Chen had once countered this technique, but it was definitely not a problem to use it against the other ancestral gods of the 4th era and the 2 soul-devouring beasts. As the great chaotic world formed, the Chaos 9-color lotus sat in the center. The 9-colored brilliance intertwined with each other, representing the 9 violent chaotic nomological elements: water, fire, wind, earth, metal, wood, thunder, light, and darkness. The 9 great chaotic laws instantly enveloped the 4th-era ancestor god and the 2 soul-devouring beasts that suddenly charged out. The Chaos Ancestral God was indeed a mid-stage 4th-era ancestor god. Even though he was fighting 1 against 3, he was not at a disadvantage. However, the great chaotic world would not last for long. "Watch out!" Mo Xiaolang suddenly exclaimed. He charged at Li Xuanji and stopped a soul-devouring beast that was sneaking up on him. This soul-devouring beast originally wanted to ambush Li Xuanji from the shadows, but Mo Xiaolang was the first to discover it and stop it. Immediately after, Mo Xiaolang's fourth epic primordial ancestor god opponent also rushed over and attacked Mo Xiaolang together with the soul-devouring beast. Fortunately, Xiaolang had devoured so many fire attribute sky devourers. At the moment, the devouring law and fire law were very powerful, so he wouldn't be in danger for the time being. However, although Mo Xiaolang had helped Li Xuanji stop a soul-devouring beast, there were a total of 2 soul-devouring beasts that wanted to ambush Li Xuanji. After one was stopped, the other soul-devouring beast appeared above Li Xuanji's head. It suddenly opened its huge mouth, and a dense aura descended from the sky, wanting to swallow Li Xuanji directly. Due to Mo Xiaolang's exclamation and action, Li Xuanji also became more vigilant. At this moment, her figure floated and instantly released the dream and transformation law, creating a dreamlike world. The colorless splendor contained endless illusions, enveloping her original opponent and the soul-devouring beast within it. However, Li Xuanji had only merged with the world's origin for a short period of time, and the psychedelic pendant was still with Long Chen, causing her to be unable to unleash her full strength. Just as the dream world was constructed, it was jointly attacked by the soul-devouring beast and great dream heart ancestor. Both overbearing laws swept out, shattering the dream world. Li Xuanji's face turned pale. Facing 2 powerful opponents at the same time made her feel a little powerless. After holding on for a short while, she was the first to give up. "Kakaka, devour, devour!" The soul-devouring beast let out an extremely sinister laugh, and its huge mouth descended from the sky, rushing out from the void, wanting to swallow Li Xuanji whole. "I can't!" Li Xuanji's expression changed, knowing that she could not withstand this attack, and immediately turned into a ray of light, shooting towards where Long Chen was. She was Long Chen's inner demon, and now that she could not withstand it, to prevent herself from being devoured, she could only choose to escape back into Long Chen's body. Long Chen naturally saw all of this. He could see that when Li Xuanji faced the soul-devouring beast, she was still somewhat restrained, or else she would not have lost so easily. After all, the soul-devouring beast was one of Long Chen's 8 dragon attendants. How could Li Xuanji bear to really attack it? Under such circumstances, Li Xuanji's defeat was a matter of course. Alone, Mo Xiaolang blocked the second soul-devouring beast that attacked Li Xuanji. In a 1 versus 3 situation, he could still hold on for the time being. The main reason was that Mo Xiaolang was very familiar with the devouring law, so it was not easy for the soul-devouring beast's law to harm Mo Xiaolang. The real danger now was undoubtedly Lingxi, the creation ancestor god, and the primordial chaos ancestor god. Among them, the primordial chaos ancestor god was also facing a soul-devouring beast and a 4th era ancestor god. The primordial chaos ancestor god was already slightly injured by the soul-devouring beast's sudden attack, and now that it was 1 against 2, it was even more difficult for it to hold on. If no one went to help, it was only a matter of time before it lost. And once it lost, it would be controlled by the God-Fiend Holy Master, just like the past, future, Fate Star Ancestor, and the other 11. On the other side, the Creation Ancestor God was facing the joint attack of 2 4th-era Ancestor Gods. As Li Xuanji escaped back into Long Chen's body, the soul-devouring beast that was attacking Li Xuanji was blocked by Xiaolang, while Great Dream Heart Ancestor directly attacked the Creation Ancestor God, and cooperated with the other 4th-era Ancestor God to launch a pincer attack. The Creation Ancestor God situation was not much better than the Primordial Chaos Ancestor God situation. Both of them were surrounded by danger, and their defeat was imminent. Excluding the destruction of the Chaos Divine World, the overall situation was originally slightly advantageous to Long Chen and the others. But with the appearance of the 8 soul-devouring beasts, the situation instantly became one-sided, and Long Chen's camp was instantly defeated. At this time, Long Chen's attention was on Lingxi. The most dangerous person on the battlefield was undoubtedly Lingxi. Perhaps because Lingxi was one of the people that Long Chen paid the most attention to, the God-Fiend Holy Master paid special attention to her from the beginning. 8 soul-devouring beasts appeared, and 3 of them directly attacked Lingxi, and together with the fourth-era ancestor god and primordial war ancestor, they besieged Lingxi. Long Chen, this Lingxi is a lovely girl in your heart. Now I will completely control her, and make her my minion, and let the two of you kill each other. Primordial War Ancestor said under the control of the God-fiend Holy Master while dealing with Lingxi. He cooperated with the three soul-devouring beasts and surrounded Lingxi in the middle. 4 against 1, they completely suppressed Lingxi. Lingxi. Long Chen was extremely anxious, and he wanted to rush over to save Lingxi. However, how could the 5 fourth-era ancestor gods beside him let him do as he wished? Chapter 37:13. Long Chen, do you have the time to care about others now? The blood demon ancestor's cold voice rang out, and he immediately attacked. The billions of blood demons turned into thousands of blood clones, and the scarlet color once again covered the entire space, trapping Long Chen in the middle. Get out of my way! At this moment, Long Chen only had eyes for Lingxi, and his eyes flashed with violent anger. No matter what, he could not let Lingxi be controlled by the divine demon Saint Master. Absolutely not. The slaughtering blood sword broke through the air and cooperated with the primordial bone sword. The two swords fused, and the myriad tribulations blood river appeared again. The blood river sword light that contained the boundless calamity of the law slashed out, creating a gap in the billions of blood demon clones that filled the sky, directly toward where Lingxi was. In your dreams. There are 5 of us, and you also want to break through? Dream on. The epic Tao ancestor's voice rang out, and then a great epic handprint appeared at the gap that Long Chen had created with the vast law of epics, trying to stop Long Chen's breakthrough. Am I dreaming, or are you dreaming? Divine Demon Saint Master, I will kill you. Long Chen's eyes were red, and his anger burned. The chains of time trembled all over his body, and the power of the law of time fused with the necklace of fate, forming another fate hourglass in the void. The fate hourglass appeared again, sealing the great epic handprint within it. Time changed in the hourglass, and as the hourglass completely passed, the great epic handprint disappeared in the void without a trace. All of this happened in just a moment in reality. Long Chen shattered the great epic handprint, and then his figure moved, breaking out. But in the next moment, he was faced with the joint obstruction of the Destiny Star Ancestor and the Demon Ancestor. The Destiny Star Ancestor had transformed into the Destiny Star Beast. Starlight filled the sky, and each starlight had its own predetermined destiny. As they fell, new stars were born in the void. The Destiny Star Tower, the source of the Destiny Star Ancestor's world, flew out from the void. Accompanied by a sealing law of destiny, it pressed down on Long Chen. The founding demonic forefather also transformed into the founding primordial spirit beast. The first divine light accompanied the Destiny Star Pagoda and bombarded Long Chen at the same time. The two attacked at the same time, trying to stop Long Chen from breaking through and saving Lingxi. But just these two were not enough. In order to be safe, the Divine Demon Lord even pulled over the past and future ancestors who had just unleashed a powerful technique. Although they were unable to unleash the two extreme worlds, they were still able to create a storm of the past and the future. As the laws of the past and future swirled in the storm, the void and time became chaotic wherever the storm went. Everything was shattered and annihilated in the storm. The 3 fourth era's founding ancestor gods worked together just to stop Long Chen from breaking through and saving Lingxi. In Long Chen's eyes, he saw that Lingxi was unable to hold on under the joint attack of the 3 soul-devouring beasts and the primordial battle ancestor. She even spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. This caused Long Chen to feel incomparable rage and heartache. Lingxi, just as the divine demon Holy Master had said, was the woman he treasured the most. There was no way he could watch as Lingxi was controlled by the divine demon Holy Master. Never. Long Chen opened his eyes. Faced with the powerful combination of the past and future ancestors, the Destiny Star Beast, and the Creation Primordial Spirit Beast, he once again activated the 4 types of ancestral dragon laws. 4 extreme sacred realm. The 4 great ancestral dragon laws of slaughter, time, karma, and life instantly fused together. With the success of the last time, he was even more proficient in using them this time. 4 different sacred realms were instantly formed and blasted toward the 3 fourth era's founding ancestor gods. Among them, the the storm of the past and the future of the past and the future ancestors whistled over, shattering all the void and time in its path, wanting to annihilate everything. However, when it came into contact with one of the ancestral dragon's sacred realms, it intertwined with the ancestral dragon laws within and finally exploded, causing the surrounding space to be destroyed. The past and future ancestors' techniques were also completely suppressed and blocked. The Destiny Star Pagoda descended along with the Destiny Seal's laws. Just as it was about to suppress Long Chen, the four extreme sacred realm appeared and the powerful world formed from the fusion of the four great ancestral dragon laws, along with the ancestral divine dragon's shadow that soared in the sacred realm, directly enveloping the Destiny Star Pagoda within. The four extreme sacred realm and the sacred realm were bombarded by the Destiny Seal's laws, causing them to tremble. However, the tremendous power from the fusion of the four great ancestral dragon laws sent the entire Destiny Star Pagoda flying away, falling into the endless void of the galaxy. Finally, the first divine light of the creation primordial spirit beast. This divine light contained endless creation laws, possessing the power to annihilate everything, destroy everything, and return everything to the creation laws. The four ultimate sanctuary appeared, directly stepping forward to block this initial ray of divine light. The moment the two sides collided, an incomparably terrifying energy instantly erupted, shattering the space and time around them. All existences were annihilated in the chaos. Long Chen brought along the last sacred realm of the four extreme sacred realm. The shadow of the divine dragon in the world churned continuously as he walked out of the ruins of time and space, leaving the past and future ancestors, the Destiny Star Ancestor, and the creation demonic ancestor far behind. The four extreme sacred realm was the ultimate technique that Long Chen currently grasped. In the end, he still managed to break through the combined forces of the three fourth era's ancestral gods. For a moment, everyone was shocked. Even the divine demon holy masters didn't have time to use other techniques to stop Long Chen's movements. Chen. Fighting 1 against 4, Lingxi had long reached her limit. She was drenched in sweat, and the power of laws in her body had dried up. In particular, it was inconvenient for her to attack the three soul-devouring beasts. Her hands and feet were tied, and she fought extremely sullenly. At this moment, when she saw Long Chen actually break through the encirclement of 5 grand ancestral gods of the 4th era by himself, and it was even 5 mid-stage 4th era ancestral gods, Ling Xi's bright and beautiful eyes instantly flickered with the glow of tears. The overall situation was very bad, but Long Chen had disregarded everything to save her and prevent her from being controlled by the divine demon holy masters. There was no need to elaborate on the feelings he had for her. The three soul-devouring beasts and the primordial war ancestor who had originally surrounded Lingxi all focused their attention on Long Chen. After all, Lingxi no longer had any combat ability, and there was no need to worry about her escaping. However, Long Chen's breakthrough was beyond their expectations. "I'm surprised that you actually broke through. However, Long Chen, do you think that you can win a battle as long as you have faith? You've really made a grave mistake. Strength is everything. It's the only factor that decides everything in the end, and your strength is far from being able to threaten me." Under the control of the divine demon holy master, the primordial war ancestor said these words. Then, he joined forces with the three soul-devouring beasts to attack Long Chen. There was still a chapter of the heaven-devouring record at night. Chapter 26, updated between 2200 hours and 2400 hours. Chapter 37:14. Long Chen had just broken through the joint encirclement of the 5 4th-era primordial ancestor gods, and was now facing a pincer attack from the primordial war ancestor and the three-headed soul-devouring beast. At the same time, the past and future ancestors and the other 4 4th-era primordial ancestor gods continued to chase after Long Chen. Right now, Long Chen was able to deal with the primordial war ancestor and the three soul-devouring beasts. At the very least, he had already freed Ling Xi from her predicament. However, if he was held back by these 4 fellows for a period of time, allowing the past and future ancestors and the other 4 4th epoch's primordial ancestor gods to surround him, then he would definitely be defeated in a 1 versus 9 battle. Therefore, he had to defeat the primordial war ancestor and the three-headed soul-devouring beast as soon as possible. Sky-piercing blood river, myriad calamity blood river. Long Chen held the slaughtering blood sword in his hand, and his eyes were filled with endless killing intent. Along with the integration of the primordial era's calamity rule, two blood-colored sword lights slashed toward the primordial war ancestor in front of him and sealed off all his escape routes. Primordial totem. The primordial war ancestor gathered all his strength and instantly formed a cylindrical totem in front of him. His eyes flashed with the power of the primordial rule, and he used the power of the totem to resist Long Chen's two blood-colored sword lights. However, the power of Long Chen's two sword lights far exceeded that of the primordial war ancestor's primordial totem and quickly destroyed it. As long as Long Chen went one step further, he could completely kill the primordial war ancestor, the fourth-era primordial ancestor god. However, at this moment, the three-headed soul-devouring beast attacked Long Chen from three directions, forcing Long Chen to deal with these three first. Moreover, because they were refined by senior dragon attendants and had the soul of dragon attendants, Long Chen was also very restricted in his attacks. Moreover, the past and future ancestors and the five fourth-era primordial ancestor gods were about to catch up. Among them, the Fate Star ancestor's main body, the Fate Star beast, had already arrived not far behind Long Chen with a starry sky. He had to break through the enemy's blockade and meet up with Lingxi. Long Chen gritted his teeth. Right at this moment, Lingxi finally made her move. She was already exhausted, but seeing that Long Chen was about to fall into the enemy's encirclement, she had to help Long Chen no matter what. World Motionless Curse. Three majestic and tyrannical curses condensed in Lingxi's hands and instantly blasted towards the three soul-devouring beasts surrounding Long Chen. The curses, which had the effect of freezing time, instantly froze the three soul-devouring beasts and rendered them unable to move for a moment. The souls of the three soul-devouring beasts belonged to the seniors of Long Chen and Lingxi, so it would not be suitable to use other methods against them. However, the unmoving world incantation, which could be used to restrict their movements, was an excellent method. The power of the curses descended from the sky, causing the three soul-devouring beasts to come to an abrupt halt. Originally, they wanted to surround Long Chen to buy time, but now they directly stopped, allowing Long Chen to easily pass through them and meet up with Lingxi first. Although they would still have to deal with 9 opponents at the same time after meeting up, with Lingxi by his side, Long Chen would be much more at ease. At the very least, he wouldn't have to worry about Lingxi's safety. As long as he didn't die, Long Chen wouldn't let anything happen to Lingxi. Want to leave? Too naive. At this moment, although the primordial battle ancestor had been injured by Long Chen's two blood-colored sword lights, he was controlled by the Sacred Lord Divine Demon. The Sacred Lord Divine Demon wouldn't care whether he was injured or not, so he directly attacked Long Chen in an attempt to stop him. At this moment, a beautiful figure jumped out of Long Chen's body. It was Li Xuanji. Accompanied by a majestic dream and change law, she formed an illusory world and trapped the primordial battle ancestor within. After a short period of rest, Li Xuanji had recovered some of her strength. Now that she attacked, the Sacred Lord Divine Demon was caught off guard. The primordial battle ancestor was trapped in that illusory world and couldn't escape for a moment. Long Chen took this opportunity to escape their encirclement with Li Xuanji and finally met up with Lingxi. Looking at Lingxi, who was drenched in sweat and her beautiful eyes filled with worry and joy, Long Chen knew that everything he had done was worth it. Even if he had to face even more difficult situations, it was still better than Lingxi being controlled by the Sacred Lord Divine Demon. Kiki, it's about time. Long Chen, haven't you realized that you've already lost? The Blood Demon ancestor's voice came from the side. His tone was sinister and proud. Together with the past and future ancestors, the Destiny Star ancestor, the Era Dao ancestor, and the Creation Demon ancestor, the 5 of them arrived near Long Chen. They cooperated with the Primordial Battle ancestor and the 3 soul-devouring beasts to surround Long Chen's group of 3. After hearing the Blood Demon progenitor's words, Long Chen scanned the area and realized that the situation was very bad. Because of the sudden appearance of the soul-devouring beast, the Chaos Ancestor God, the Chaos Ancestor God, and the Creation Ancestor God were already at the point where they couldn't hold on any longer. Among them, the Chaos Ancestral God was facing a 4th-era Ancestral God and 2 soul-devouring beasts. He could still hold on in the beginning, but now, he was already exhausted under the joint attacks of the 3. The first to be unable to hold on was Creation Ancestor God. He was completely suppressed by Great Dream Heart Ancestor and Nature Ancestor, the 2 4th-era Ancestor Gods. Just as the blood demon ancestor finished speaking, two balls of black gas floated out from the bodies of the great dream heart ancestor and the nature ancestor. They directly entered the body of the creation ancestor god, who had no ability to resist. In just a short moment, ancestor god creation's eyes emitted a black aura before returning to normal. However, his expression became extremely evil. He was being controlled. Oh no! Long Chen's face darkened. He could see that the creation ancestor god was being controlled by the god-fiend Holy Master. The god-fiend Holy Master had split off a part of his body to control the creation ancestor god. At this point, Long Chen's camp had lost another great battle force. It's not over yet, he. At the same time, the Era Dao ancestor laughed sinisterly. On the other side, the Chaos Ancestor God was also being controlled by the black gas that had split off from the God-fiend Holy Master's body. Soon, even the stronger Chaos Ancestral God could not escape the joint attack of the three. He was also controlled by the God-fiend Holy Master. The Chaos Ancestral God, the Creation Ancestor God, and the Chaos Ancestral God had fallen. Of Long Chen's helpers, only Xiao Lang, Lingxi, and Li Xuanji were left. They became even weaker. Long Chen wanted to charge out and save the Chaos Ancestral God, the Creation Ancestor God, and the Chaos Ancestral God. However, the past and future ancestors, the Blood Demon Ancestor, and the other 8 ancestors surrounded Long Chen's group of 3. They did not give him any chance to break through. The God-fiend Holy Master controlled 3 ancestor gods. Victory was almost in his grasp. The chances of Long Chen turning the tables were extremely low. He was in a desperate situation. Chapter 37:15. There were only 4 people left in Long Chen's camp. Apart from himself, there was also Lingxi and Li Xuanji. Both of them were quite strong, but they were exhausted and couldn't continue fighting. There was also Mo Xiaolang. He was fighting 1 against 3. Although he was holding on for now, it was clear that he was at the end of his tether and couldn't hold on any longer. Ha ha ha! How is it, Long Chen? How are you going to kill me in your current state? I've been waiting for you to kill me. Unfortunately, you're too disappointing. Under the Sacred Lord's control, all the origin ancestor gods from the 4th era started laughing at the same time. Their eerie laughter spread throughout the myriad worlds, causing countless living beings in the myriad worlds to tremble in fear. At this moment, all the living beings in the myriad worlds were paying attention to the battle outside the Chaos Divine World because this battle concerned the life and death of the myriad worlds. The Chaos Divine World was already destroyed, but if Long Chen couldn't annihilate the Sacred Lord, then more worlds would be destroyed until the entire myriad worlds were devoured by the Sacred Lord. Everyone was praying. But at this moment, with the Chaos Ancestor God, and Creation Ancestor God under the Sacred Lord's control, almost all living beings in the myriad worlds fell into despair. They were already in such a predicament. What chance did Long Chen have to turn defeat into victory and annihilate the Sacred Lord? Difficult, very difficult. It was simply too difficult. It could even be said that it was almost impossible for Long Chen to turn the situation around. All the living beings in the Chaos Divine World were like dead ashes. It wasn't that they didn't have confidence in Long Chen, but the current situation was completely hopeless for Long Chen. There was no way out. In the past, Long Chen had led many ancestor gods to defeat the Fiend God Holy Lord. But now the Fiend God Holy Lord had made a comeback, and he had caught Long Chen off guard. In an instant, the Fiend God Holy Lord had completely suppressed Long Chen's army. The Sacred Lord had the mentality of a cat chasing a mouse when facing the remaining 4 of Long Chen's group. Now, which one of you should start first? Oh right, that little bastard is a traitor of the sky-devouring race. I'll devour him first. As the Blood Demon Ancestor spoke, the 7 4th Era Ancestor Gods instantly attacked Mo Xiaolang. The 7 4th Era Ancestor Gods surrounded Mo Xiaolang at the same time. As for the other 8 soul-devouring beasts and the other 7 4th Era Ancestor Gods, they changed their formation and surrounded Long Chen, Li Xuanji, and Lingxi. The Sacred Lord controlled a total of 14 4th Era Ancestor Gods and 8 soul-devouring beasts. Each of them had the strength of a 4th Era Ancestor God. There were just too many of them. Even though Long Chen wanted to help Mo Xiaolang, he couldn't do anything for the time being. He could only watch Mo Xiaolang in the distance being besieged by the 7th Fourth Era's original ancestral gods. The danger and pressure Mo Xiaolang was facing right now was much greater than when Long Chen was fighting against the 5 of them at the beginning. After all, the past and future ancestors, the 5 ancestor gods of the middle stage of the 4th Era, were all attacking Mo Xiaolang. On top of that, the Chaos Ancestor God and the Creation Ancestor God, who had just been controlled by the God-fiend Holy Master. 7 against 1. Mo Xiaolang had no chance of winning. As for Long Chen, even though he had the help of Lingxi and Li Xuanji, it was extremely difficult to break through the siege of 15 experts. How does it feel to be a traitor? In the end, the sky-devouring race is the ultimate ruler of this world. You betrayed the sky-devouring race. You're courting death. The blood demon ancestor led the way to surround Mo Xiaolang. He smiled sinisterly. Billions of blood demon true body laws were displayed, forming a huge sea of blood clones that covered the entire void. They headed towards Mo Xiaolang to devour him. I'm not betraying you. Against the sky-devouring race. Even if I die in battle, I have no regrets. If I can kill one, it's one. If I can kill two, it's a double. It's a win. Mo Xiaolang roared angrily. He finally transformed into the sun-devouring fiend wolf. Endless power of fire laws erupted from his body. The dead spirit's blood fire and primordial calamity flame fused together. At this critical moment, Mo Xiaolang displayed his strongest power. Mo Xiaolang knew that their only chance of winning now was with Long Chen. If Long Chen could break through to the 4th Era's origin ancestor god realm, they might have a chance. Therefore, Mo Xiaolang knew that he had to buy time for Long Chen. He had to create the conditions to resist for as long as he could. The death spirit blood fire and the desolate 10,000 calamity flame fused together, forming a flame that seemed to burn from hell. It instantly burned the entire void, burning the billions of blood demon true bodies that the blood demon ancestor had released. Primordial calamity flame. Mo Xiaolang fused the dead spirit's blood fire and primordial calamity flame to burn the billions of blood demon true bodies. The sun-devouring fiend wolf's eyes were filled with endless flames. They contained endless anger and flashed with determination. Even if he fought to his death, he would not retreat. Moreover, there was nowhere to retreat in the current situation. He could only fight to the death. You do have some ability. However, as a member of the sky-devouring race, you actually used the flames of the ancestral divine dragon. You really neglected the essentials. What a pity. Now, I'll let you see the true power of the sky-devouring race. It's not something a traitor like you can comprehend. As the ancestor of the past and future spoke, a black shadow appeared behind the 7 4th Era ancestral gods that surrounded Mo Xiaolang. This black shadow was the divine demon Sacred Lord, which was a part of the giant demon god beast's body. The 7 black shadows quickly gathered above Mo Xiaolang's head and quickly formed a giant demon god beast. Compared to the sun-devouring fiend wolf, it was much larger. It took up a large portion of the void, and its huge mouth was filled with the law of devouring. I'm going to devour you right now. The giant demon god beast's eyes widened in anger. It opened its mouth and spat out a turbulent flow of the law of devouring that enveloped the sun-devouring fiend wolf that Mo Xiaolang had transformed into. From this turbulent flow of the law of devouring, Mo Xiaolang could feel that the other party's strength completely surpassed the mid-stage 4th Era ancestral gods. It was at least at the early stage 4th Era level. It was obvious that the divine demon Sacred Lord had mostly recovered. Facing such a terrifying and ferocious existence, Mo Xiaolang couldn't even delay for time. The endless turbulent flow of the law of devouring condensed into a raging tide that directly enveloped Mo Xiaolang. The giant demon god beast opened its huge mouth and swallowed the sun-devouring fiend wolf into its stomach. The new Heaven Devouring Chronicles had already been updated to Chapter 28. Chapter 29 was updated at night. The vast Xianxia world was very explosive. Welcome to read. As for the dragon blood, there wasn't much left. It was December now, and it was estimated to have been completed 16 years ago. The following plot was about fighting for the myriad worlds, fighting for survival in a hopeless situation, and many unexpected things. Chapter 37:16. The fiend god beast swallowed the sun-devouring demon wolf in one gulp. A huge black shadow moved through the void, tyrannical and tyrannical. The law of devouring surged, swallowing the nearby space. Long Chen's eyes almost popped out of their sockets when he saw this. Xiao Lang had been swallowed by the god-fiend Holy Lord. Xiao Lang! Ling she could not help but cry out when she saw this. Her voice was filled with disbelief, as well as shock and anger. Li Xuanji's eyes were also red. She didn't say anything, but she was definitely shocked and angry. The giant god-fiend beast was so terrifying. It had swallowed Mo Xiaolang in one move. Long Chen was deeply provoked by this scene. His eyes were red, and the massacre law was burning in his eyes, ready to explode at any time. How is it, Long Chen? Your best brother, the traitor of the sky-devouring race, has been swallowed by this holy lord. The giant god-fiend beast soared through the void and laughed domineeringly. It had a smug look on its face. You will pay the price for this. Long Chen's eyes were filled with bloodlust as he roared. Ha ha ha, this holy lord is waiting for you to make me pay the price. But it looks like you won't be able to do it. Long Chen, it's your woman's turn now. Kiki. The giant god-fiend beast laughed sinisterly. Its eyes turned to Lingxi and Li Xuanji, who were standing next to Long Chen. Is that so? Then come. Long Chen's anger had reached its limit. Bloodlust shone from his eyes. Finally, when the giant god-fiend beast stared at Lingxi and Li Xuanji, he completely exploded. Perhaps it was because he had reached his limit. At this moment, the bloodlust that had been accumulating for a long time was burning. The destroyed chaotic god realm still had a vast amount of world energy. Now, it was being swallowed by Long Chen's massacre law. The entire chaotic god realm was fused in. Finally, the sixth world of massacre law origin formed in Long Chen's body. The power of the massacre law instantly exploded. Senior dragon servants. Ancestor gods. Xiao Lang. Long Chen's eyes became moist as he thought back to everything that had happened in the past. Now, everything had been destroyed by the sacred god demon lord. The heavens won't forgive me if I don't kill you. Murderous flames erupted in Long Chen's eyes. As the sixth world of massacre law origin formed in his body, his massacre law origin had reached the fourth epic origin ancestor god realm. In this way, he was already at the same realm as the primordial bloodline spiritual dragon. His strength had skyrocketed. His anger turned into flames and motivation, giving birth to endless massacre intent in his heart. When he was cultivating in the Tower of Time, he had been focusing on the cultivation of the Tao of Slaughter. At this moment, as his Tao of Slaughter completely erupted, he was forced to step into the realm of the fourth era's primordial ancestral god. Massacre. Long Chen's eyes were already filled with a massacre law origin. He looked at the giant god-fiend beast in the distance. There were many fourth-era ancestor gods and soul-devouring beasts between him and the giant god-fiend beast. 8 soul-devouring beasts and 7 fourth-era ancestor gods attacked Long Chen ferociously. From the beginning, these 15 powerful beings had never stopped harassing Long Chen. Because of this, Long Chen couldn't rescue Xiao Lang. But now, Long Chen had entered a state of endless slaughter. The wolf cub had been devoured by the gigantic demonic god beast, causing him to be deeply stimulated. He could no longer control the killing intent in his body. Even if he was facing those fourth-era ancestor gods who were controlled, Long Chen wouldn't show any mercy. Ha ha ha, Long Chen, do you want to kill me? Come on. But first, you have to kill these fourth era's progenitor ancestral gods. Otherwise, they won't let you touch me. The giant god-fiend beast's arrogant voice came from not far away, further stimulating the killing intent in Long Chen's heart. The plant demon forefather, the ancestor of the original soul, and the hexapath demon forefather, the 3 fourth-era ancestor gods launched attacks at Long Chen at the same time. The power of the rule surged out and covered Long Chen's entire body. Landscape painting. The power of the plant demon forefather's rule surged out and outlined a picture of the landscape. He wanted to envelop Long Chen and kill him. However, Long Chen held the slaughtering blood sword in his hand and casually swung it. The massacre law went berserk and instantly broke the entire landscape painting. After breaking through to the next realm, Long Chen's rule power skyrocketed. If it was before his breakthrough, He might have needed to use a rule technique like the Sky Blood River to break the other party's landscape painting. But now, he only needed to casually swing his sword and he could break it. Original Soul Deprivation. The ancestor of the original soul came head-on. A skeletal arm stretched out from the void and grabbed Long Chen with the extremely dense original soul deprivation law. Deprivation for me. The ancestor of the original soul had a crazed look in his eyes. At this moment, the ancestor of the original soul had lost its original consciousness. Its entire body was controlled by the sacred fiend God Lord, and all its power was poured into the original soul deprivation law. However, a ray of bloodlight shot into the sky and directly cut the skeletal arm in half. Long Chen broke out of it with a slaughtering bloodsword in his hand. His killing intent awe-inspiring. This is the power to destroy everything. Sacred fiend God Lord, you must die. Long Chen's heart of slaughter burned intensely. In his eyes, there was only the fiend god behemoth soaring in the void in the distance. As for the Fourth Era ancestor gods in front of him, they were just small obstacles to Long Chen. They weren't a threat at all. Even if 15 ancestor gods attacked Long Chen at the same time, he wouldn't encounter any danger. After all, he had broken through to the Fourth Era's ancestral ancestor god realm. Coupled with the complete inheritance of the primordial blood spirit dragon, his strength had far surpassed these ancestral ancestor gods of the Fourth Era. Eyes of 6 Paths of Reincarnation. The 6 Paths demonic forefather came to stop him. The eyes of 6 Paths of Reincarnation law roared and a huge eye appeared in the void. It contained the 6 Paths of Reincarnation law and produced a terrifying annihilating power that wanted to devour Long Chen. This move could be said to be the 6 Path demonic patriarch's strongest rule, and it was used to kill Long Chen. Even if it didn't work, it would at least delay or seriously injure Long Chen. However, Long Chen only held the slaughtering blood sword tightly in the face of the roaring eyes of 6 Paths of Reincarnation. His eyes burned with killing intent as he casually slashed down with the sword, forming a blood-red slaughter sword ray. The scarlet sword ray slaughtered and destroyed everything in its path. It clashed with the devouring eyes of 6 Paths of Reincarnation, splitting the huge eye in the void into 2. Then, it exploded and completely shattered in the void. Great, Long Chen has broken through, but Lingxi couldn't help but feel excited when she saw Long Chen's breakthrough. But when she remembered that Mo Xiaolang had been devoured, her mood immediately sank. Don't worry. Although the sacred fiend god Lord has devoured Xiaolang, he won't be able to kill Xiaolang in a short time. Maybe there's a chance to save him. Chapter 37:17. Long Chen broke through the powerful laws of Xueqi, Origin Soul Ancestor, and Hexapath. How about it, Long Chen? Do you dare to kill these ancestor gods? They won't be able to revive if you kill them, and you'll bear the sin of killing an ancestor god. A cruel expression appeared on the Origin Soul Ancestor's face. It was the divine demon lord who manipulated him to mock Long Chen. Be it ancestral god Xueqi, the ancestral god of the Origin Soul, the ancestral god of 6 Paths, or the other ancestral gods of the Fourth Era, they were all ancestral gods who had a good relationship with Long Chen. After the battle with the sacred lord of the god-fiend god realm, they were all on his side. Now, Long Chen really couldn't bear to kill them. However, Long Chen's killing intent had risen, and his slaughter law had skyrocketed. Moreover, he knew very well that if he couldn't kill these ancestor gods, he would be toyed to death by the divine demon lord. Lingxi, Xuanji, enter the divine kingdom. Long Chen shouted and put the 2 women into the divine kingdom. He didn't want to have to take care of them during the battle and distract Long Chen. Previously, Long Chen wasn't strong enough and needed the help of the 2 women to fight. But now, as Long Chen broke through the shackles and stepped into the Fourth Era's origin ancestor god realm, he didn't need the 2 women to fight in front of him. Long Chen would take responsibility for everything that happened in front of him. Lingxi and Li Xuanji naturally trusted Long Chen and entered Long Chen's divine kingdom without any hesitation. Then, Long Chen wielded the slaughtering blood sword and unleashed his law of slaughter at the Xueqi demon forefather, the ancestor of original soul, and the Hexapath demon forefather. Violent blood. Devouring soul. Long Chen gripped the bloodlust sword tightly, and a scarlet color swept across the entire field, erupting with a tyrannical blood-colored blade storm. Long Chen couldn't bear to face these three controlled fourth-era primordial ancestor gods, but he had to kill them no matter what. Only then would he have the ability to face the divine demon's sacred master. If the god-fiend's sacred master didn't die, Long Chen's camp would all die in the end. Even the fourth era's ancestral gods wouldn't be able to survive. Therefore Long Chen, who had thought through everything, was determined to kill. Even if he had to kill these fourth era's primordial ancestor gods, he couldn't hesitate at all. Otherwise, even if he had the power to suppress them, he would still be toyed to death by the god-fiend's sacred master. Violent blood-devouring soul was a move that Long Chen comprehended when he cultivated the sixth slaughter law world's origin and stepped into the fourth era's primordial ancestor god realm. It was the upgraded version of the blood spirit devouring soul. In terms of the power of the slaughter law, violent blood-devouring soul was superior to the blood spirit devouring soul. Moreover, its greatest use was to devour the opponent's soul without harming it. Long Chen could place it in the ruins of time. Just like the bodies of the 8 dragon servants, it would be immortal in the ruins of time, and there might be a possibility of resurrection in the future. Facing the fourth era's primordial ancestor gods who were like family and friends, even if he had to kill them, Long Chen could only kill them with tears in his eyes and leave them with hope. You really dared to do it, Long Chen. This feeling of slaughtering your friends and comrades seems to be very good. Long Chen said. Hee. The god-fiend's sacred master controlled the origin soul ancestor and laughed sinisterly. Then, the origin soul ancestor was devoured by the violent blood-devouring soul's blade storm. Long Chen didn't hesitate at all. His face was bloodthirsty and cold, but his heart was bleeding. The god-fiend's sacred master will repay the blood of all ancestor gods for you. Everyone, I'm sorry. Long Chen could only do it by remaining cold. No matter what the god-fiend's sacred master said, Long Chen didn't retreat at all. The violent blood-devouring soul continued to devour the souls of the origin soul ancestor, Xueqi ancestral demon ancestor, and the hexapath ancestral demon ancestor, sending them into the ruins of time. However, the 3 ancestor gods were only left with their souls and the world's origin, which were stored away by Long Chen. Their bodies were shattered, and waves of black gas came out. That was a part of the god-fiend's sacred master's body. When the fourth era's primordial ancestor god died, the god-fiend's sacred master couldn't stay there any longer. That part of his body would definitely return to his main body. Long Chen. Die. At that moment, a soul-devouring beast suddenly sneaked up on Long Chen and launched a nomological attack at him. This sound was exactly the same as the original origin dragon attendant, causing Long Chen's heart to skip a beat. On the other side, another soul-devouring beast erupted. It was covered in the slaughter law, and it was filled with the aura of a slaughter dragon servant. It also attacked Long Chen from all sides. Dragon servants. Wait for me to kill the god-fiend's sacred master and save you. Long Chen's heart skipped a beat, but he quickly regained his composure. He knew that this wasn't the time to be distracted. If he did, he would fall into the god-fiend's sacred master's trap. All of you move aside. Long Chen tightened his grip on the blood slaughter sword, and the slaughter intent didn't diminish at all. The psychedelic pendant also floated up at this time, fusing with the power of the slaughter law. Violent blood hell. Long Chen combined the slaughter law and the psychedelic law to unleash the laws of the violent blood hell. He created a hallucinatory world filled with the stench of blood and violence, and he enveloped the 2 soul-devouring beasts within. In the violent blood hell, the soul-devouring beasts would see the illusion of the person they attacked. Right now, they would see the illusion of Long Chen and attack the illusion of Long Chen. Due to the influence of the slaughter law, it was very difficult for them to realize that they were in an illusion. Not only could the violent blood hell trap the soul-devouring beasts and temporarily reduce the pressure on Long Chen, but it could also weaken the soul-devouring beast's strength. The souls of the dragon servants wouldn't be harmed anyway, so it was a very good move for Long Chen. In an instant, 2 soul-devouring beasts were swallowed by the violent blood hell, and then they were immersed in the slaughter of Long Chen's illusion, unable to extricate themselves. Even the divine demon lord controlling the 2 soul-devouring beasts couldn't wake them up from the illusion. Now that Long Chen's slaughter law had cultivated the 6th world's origin, his strength was much stronger than before, and even the divine demon lord couldn't do anything about it. Kill! Great Dream Heart Ancestor, Nature Ancestor, and Chaos Ancestor God, the three Fourth-era Ancestor Gods, immediately attacked Long Chen, wanting to stop Long Chen and exhaust Long Chen's strength. Thousand-Year Dream, Slumber. Great Dream Heart Ancestor raised his hand and unleashed the Great Dream Rules. The thousand-year dream of deep slumber intent domain quietly descended, causing Long Chen to feel drowsy. He really wanted to sleep like this and never wake up, away from all the troubles in the world. But the killing intent in Long Chen's eyes suddenly surged, pulling him back from the edge of slumber. Divine Demon Lord, you must die! With endless killing intent towards the Divine Demon Lord, Long Chen instantly woke up, and the violent blood-devouring soul condensed a scarlet sword storm. The violent power enveloped Great Dream Heart Ancestor within, and completely devoured his soul. Today, the Heaven-Devouring Chronicles exploded, and there were 5 chapters. Chapter 37:18. Great Dream Heart Ancestor was swallowed by the violent blood-devourer swordstorm and was finally killed by Long Chen. And Long Chen's slaughter would not stop until he killed the Divine Demon Holy Lord. Nature's Storm. Nature Ancestor attacked from the side, bringing with him a natural law storm, attempting to engulf Long Chen within and stop him from advancing. Long Chen no longer showed any mercy when he attacked. A bloody sword aura imbued with slaughter law slashed through the natural law storm, and then he used the violent blood-devourer swordstorm to devour Nature Ancestor. And Chaos Ancestor God. Long Chen looked at the chaotic ancestral god, and a hint of pity appeared in his eyes. Not long ago, the chaotic ancestral god was still a friend and elder of Long Chen's and sparred with him. But now, he was being controlled by the sacred Lord God Demon and had lost his own will. He could only become a sacrifice for the sacred Lord. Facing Chaos Ancestor God, Long Chen had no choice but to continue using the violent blood-devourer swordstorm. No matter what, he could not continue. Even if he killed all these ancestor gods, he had to go to the Divine Demon Holy Lord and kill him. This was what Long Chen had to do now. If he hesitated any longer, he would fall into the Divine Demon Holy Lord's trap and never be able to escape. Long Chen, I'm Chaos Ancestor God. Do you want to kill me? Chaos Ancestor God's face showed a hint of sorrow. You're a Divine Demon Holy Lord. You can't fool me. If you were Chaos Ancestor God, you wouldn't be begging me for mercy under such circumstances. Long Chen said calmly as he tightened his grip on the blood slaughter sword. Violent blood devours soul, and a bloody storm of swords roared out, enveloping the entire Chaos Ancestral God and devouring his soul and world origin. Ever since Long Chen's law of slaughter had broken through to the Fourth Era, he had devoured 6 Fourth-era progenitor gods in succession. There were 8 Fourth-era progenitor gods and 8 soul-devouring beasts refined by senior dragon attendants. Slaughter law revolved around Long Chen's body, gradually forming a blood-colored slaughter chain. The violent blood devourer's blade storm was able to sweep through the slaughter chain at any time and place. If he were to face the soul-devouring beast, Long Chen would fuse the laws of slaughter and transformation to display the laws of violent blood hell, temporarily trapping the soul-devouring beast within. If he were to face the Fourth Era's progenitor god, Long Chen could only use violent blood-devouring soul to kill it. In this way, the souls of the dragon servants inside the soul-devourer beast wouldn't be harmed, and the Fourth-era ancestor gods had the possibility of resurrecting because they retained their world source and souls in the ruins of time. However, even if these ancestor gods had the chance to resurrect, it would be extremely difficult. Long Chen's strength was limited, and he couldn't use the violent blood-devourer hell to trap all of his opponents. Therefore, he could only choose to control the soul-devourer beast and kill the other ancestor gods. Long Chen stepped into the Fourth-era ancestor god realm, and his slaughter law surged as he attacked the Divine Demon Holy Lords with irresistible force. A portion of the Divine Demon Holy Lords in the bodies of the ancestor gods killed by Long Chen escaped and gathered in the bodies of the remaining ancestor gods. In next to no time, only the last 7 ancestral gods of the Fourth Era remained, and they included the past and future ancestors, the Blood Fiend Ancestor, the Tao Ancestor of the Era, the Predestination Star Ancestor, and the Creation Ancestor. These 5 were the 5 ancestral gods of the Fourth Era that had besieged Long Chen at the beginning, and the Primordial Chaos Ancestral God and the Creation Ancestral God were included as well. The 7 ancestor gods finally gathered together, and the divine demon holy lords possessed the bodies of the 7 of them, surrounding Long Chen in the middle. At the same time, the last 8 soul-devourer beasts finally broke through the violent blood hell's violent blood illusions restraint and erupted again, surrounding Long Chen with the 7 fourth-era ancestor gods. A total of 15 experts surrounded Long Chen, and it was impossible for him to escape. The only thing Long Chen could do was kill, and kill all of these ancestor gods. If he didn't kill these ancestor gods, the divine demon holy lords' bodies would be hidden in these ancestor gods' bodies, and Long Chen would never be able to kill them. After the divine demon holy lords transformed into giant divine demon beasts and swallowed Mo Xiaolang, they returned to the bodies of the ancestor gods and spread out, leaving Long Chen with no way to deal with them. He will definitely succeed. The divine demon holy lords are no match for him. Li Xuanji clenched her fists. Although she was very confident in Long Chen, she was extremely nervous at this moment and couldn't relax at all. Apart from Lingxi and Li Xuanji, there were countless living beings, divine demons, and supremacies watching this battle that would decide the fate of the myriad worlds. Everyone was praying for Long Chen. Originally, all living beings in the myriad worlds thought that they were doomed. But when Long Chen broke through to the 4th era's origin ancestor god realm, they all saw hope. Long Chen still had a chance to kill the divine demon holy lord. All living beings in the myriad worlds and billions of divine demon supremacies were cheering and praying for Long Chen. 15-1. The 8 soul-devouring beasts and the 7 4th era's origin ancestor gods surrounded Long Chen in the middle, not planning to give Long Chen any chance. Clearly, the giant divine demon holy lords felt threatened by Long Chen's burst of power. Soul-devouring beasts, ancestor gods, unleash all your power and kill Long Chen. The divine demon holy lord hid within the bodies of the 7 ancestor gods and roared out an order. The 8 soul-devouring beasts opened their huge mouths at the same time and spat out a wave of devouring law at Long Chen. It was eerie and terrifying. The 8 devouring law formed a devouring tornado that surged toward Long Chen. Under the control of the divine demon holy lord, the 8 soul-devouring beasts attacked at the same time and unleashed a terrifying tornado. This powerful tornado carried a sinister aura as if it wanted to devour the entire myriad worlds. The space of the myriad worlds began to tremble in this tornado. 4 extreme sacred realm. At this moment, Long Chen's heart actually calmed down a little. He raised his hand, and the power of slaughter, time, karma, and life law condensed and fused into 4 powerful sacred realms. Since the slaughter law had been raised to the 4th era's origin ancestor god realm, the power of Long Chen's 4 extreme sacred realm had also surpassed what it was before. Even the tornado formed by the 8 soul-devouring beasts attacking at the same time was suppressed by the 4 extreme sacred realm in terms of aura. Break! Long Chen roared. Within the 4 sacred realms of the 4 extreme sacred realm, the figures of the ancestor divine dragons danced and danced, sandwiching the tornado that could devour all worlds. The power of the 4 violent laws erupted at the same time and counteracted the tornado that could devour all worlds. The sky-swallowing record didn't update at night. Chapter 37-19. The 4 worlds of the 4 ultimate sanctuary arrived with a loud bang, completely swallowing the tornado that could devour all worlds. Terrifying vortexes erupted from both sides, completely destroying and annihilating the surrounding space and time, forming an area where both time and space were in complete chaos. Even if the primal chaos world hadn't been destroyed, it would have been devoured by the chaotic space and time at this moment. Violent blood-devouring soul. Long Chen unleashed the 4 extreme sacred realm to resist the joint attack of the 8 soul-devouring beasts, but he didn't let his guard down. Instead, he immediately launched an attack at the Chaos Ancestor God and the Creation Ancestor God. The blood-red sword storm formed by the violent blood-devouring soul-devouring technique instantly erupted, shattering the void and devouring the Creation Ancestor God and the Chaos Ancestor God. You've been tricked. The divine demon lord's cold voice resounded. Then, the past and future ancestors, the Blood Demon Ancestor, the Eridao Ancestor, the Destiny Star Ancestor, and the Demonic Ancestor all attacked Long Chen at almost the same time. The Divine Demon Lord had purposely let the Creation Ancestor God and the Chaos Ancestor God reveal an opening to attract Long Chen's attack. Then, the 5 Ancestor Gods attacked together in an attempt to completely annihilate Long Chen. Long Chen's violent blood-devouring soul and blood-red storm of blades had indeed killed the Chaos Ancestor God and the Creation Ancestor God and devoured their souls and world origin into the ruins of time. But at this moment, before he could even react, the all-out attack from the past and future ancestors had already landed on his body. Two extreme worlds. The past and future ancestors held the past world in their left hand and the future world in their right. The two extreme worlds attacked again, and even though they were exhausted to the point of vomiting blood, they didn't hesitate to use it. The two extreme worlds descended, and they wanted to completely annihilate Long Chen in the river of past and future. Demonic blood sky sealing kill. At this moment, the blood demon ancestor also displayed his strongest technique. A scarlet magic formation was summoned by him and enveloped Long Chen's body. Within the magic formation of the blood demon forbidden space kill, Long Chen's movements became extremely slow. Originally, because he had been attacked by the two ancestral gods, he could not react in time. Now that his movements had slowed down, it was even more difficult for him to resist the following attacks. End of an era. The epic Tao ancestor condensed the majestic power of the epic laws, unleashing a power of destruction that could destroy an epic. It transformed into a gigantic hand seal that descended from the sky. The laws of epic destruction contained within it were several times stronger than the great epic hand seal from before. The first divine light. Life-sealing art. The founding demon ancestor and the destiny star ancestor, the two fourth era's primordial ancestor gods, transformed into their true forms and used their strongest techniques to attack Long Chen. 5 great nomological techniques enveloped Long Chen from 5 different spaces. There was no way to dodge or escape. Long Chen, let's see how you deal with this time. The divine demon's sacred lord's voice rang out. A moment later, the 5 nomological techniques landed on Long Chen's body at the same time. The divine demon's sacred lord hoped that the combined attack of the 5 ancestral gods would be able to completely annihilate Long Chen. Otherwise, his situation would not be too good. However, the divine demon's sacred lord soon discovered that in the center of the 5 nomological techniques that the 5 ancestral gods had unleashed, an hourglass filled with the color of blood suddenly appeared. This hourglass was somewhat similar to the fate hourglass that Long Chen had used in the past. The only difference was that this hourglass contained the blood-colored laws of massacre. Ultimate Fate Hourglass. Long Chen fused the laws of massacre, fate, and time to create this blood-colored hourglass in the void beside him. As the laws of massacre in the hourglass flowed, the blood-red color dyed the surrounding space and time, filling the entire space and time with the laws of massacre. The laws of massacre permeated the two extremes of the past and future ancestors. As the fate hourglass flowed, the power of the two extremes of the world was slowly annihilated by the laws of massacre. During this process, the time around Long Chen seemed to have stopped. Due to the speed at which the fate hourglass flowed, the time around Long Chen underwent a huge change. The nomological power that could have instantly struck Long Chen was now swept into the ultimate fate hourglass and lost its power as the fate hourglass flowed. After incorporating the laws of massacre of the fourth epic's ancestral god realm, the power of the fate hourglass became unimaginable. The laws of massacre in this hourglass seemed to be able to transcend endless space and time and annihilate any existence. The powerful nomological power of the blood demon ancestor, the blood demon sealing space kill, had originally imprisoned Long Chen. However, at this moment, the blood demon sealing space kill formation was controlled by the ultimate fate hourglass. As the fate hourglass flowed, the power of the blood demon sealing space kill formation gradually dissipated in the void and could no longer affect Long Chen. The era's destruction. The Tao ancestor of the era's gigantic handprint fell from the void, but it was also sucked in by the ultimate hourglass of fate. The laws of slaughter in the hourglass of fate constantly annihilated the power of the era's destruction handprint, dissipating it into nothingness. The life-sealing art and the original divine light are the same techniques, but they are useless against me. Long Chen finally looked at the nomological techniques of the Destiny Star Ancestor and the Demon Ancestor Creator. The Destiny Star Pagoda descended from the sky to suppress him, but it was also absorbed by the ultimate fate hourglass and could not suppress Long Chen. Moreover, the power within it was quickly annihilated by the hourglass. The original divine light and the life-sealing art were in the same situation. Before they could get close to Long Chen, They were absorbed by the ultimate fate hourglass and annihilated by the laws of massacre within. As Long Chen's laws of massacre rose to the fourth epoc's ancestral god realm, all of his techniques were enhanced. The fate hourglass could also withstand the powerful attacks of the 5 ancestral gods at the same time. However, using the ultimate fate hourglass also consumed a lot of Long Chen's physical strength. Next, he did not hesitate and prepared to attack the Destiny Star Ancestor and the Demon Ancestor Creator. Explode! Perhaps because he felt threatened, the Divine Demon Sacred Lord was no longer as calm and collected as before. He immediately urged the Destiny Star Ancestor and the Demon Ancestor Creator to sacrifice their respective world origins in an attempt to detonate the world origins. Time entanglement. Long Chen's heart tightened when he saw this. He knew that he must not allow the Divine Demon Sacred Lord to truly detonate the world origin. The time chain instantly extended out and trapped the 2 ancestral gods, preventing them from moving. Then, Violent Blood-Devouring Soul. The Violent Blood-Devouring Soul condensed into 2 blood-colored blade storms that descended upon the Destiny Star Ancestor and the Demon Ancestor Creator, instantly killing the 2 fourth epoc's ancestral gods. You're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.